The stream is live.
All right. Well, everybody, we are live. So sorry I don't have a really great background behind me, but you get what you get. So we'll give everybody a bit of a chance to get on and start watching because it takes people a bit. Nobody's, other than Jody and Glenn and a few other people that are here waiting. Everybody else kind of gets a chance to join. So we'll go around for everybody because this is the first time we've done this on my channel. Usually we do it on one of these guys' channel, doing the live updates. So we'll go around and kind of introduce everybody and give a quick little talk about what's been up with you lately since the last time we all talked was 6-7 months ago. It's been quite a while since we've done one of these lives. So
Yeah, it is.
why don't you give it a go, Patrick? You can start off.
All right. There's not a whole lot new, really. In July, I did crash the yellow Goldwing, and so now I have a new red Goldwing, a 2016 version of the same bike. Other than that, nothing really new. I did take my first long solo trip just recently, although in this crowd, that's a very tiny little drop in the bucket. But it was really cool. I enjoyed that. 2024 has been good to me.
I've been watching some of your videos on that trip. It looks like you had a really good time. I don't know about doing the iron, but 1,000 miles in a day, that's a lot of miles. Even on a Goldwing, that's a lot.
I was going to say, remember what I'm riding. Yeah. But yeah, so it's been good over here, just slow and steady, pretty routine, and I kind of like that.
Nice. And so Tomek, what's new with you? I know I saw on your Instagram that you may have spent some money somewhere.
Yeah, that's the plan. And so I think some of you may know that follow my channel or Dewey's channel, more adventure bike kind of stuff. We're into those kind of style of bikes, and there's a hot new bike on the market. Well, not on the U.S. market yet. The CF Moto 450 Ibex. So it's that new, well, I guess not that new, but the Chinese brand. So There's a lot of controversy about that, but I heard good things about that bike, and I felt like it'd be a good move for the channel. Plus, it's probably something that I would want. They're calling it the Mini T7 or the Mini Tenere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. I've seen reviews, and actually, it's interesting. They're popular in South America. You see quite a few CF Motos
and Australia.
Yeah, and Australia, and I think Europe they're getting popular too.
Everybody loves them. The one issue is that I put the deposit down, but they have no idea when the bike's going to be here. So it's kind of like I don't want to get it this month or 4 months. There's some kind of issue with emissions, I believe. That's why they can't bring them to the US market yet. They're ready. That's what they told me. They're ready to go. It's just they're negotiating, most like California, because you know how that is. It all starts in Cali and then.
Well, I'll tell you, Tom, I follow a couple guys that live in Australia that have them. And this one guy is Baz66. He loves that bike, and he beats the crap out of it, and that thing just keeps on going.
Yeah, So I'm really curious because, throughout the years, Chinese products had a reputation for just being Chinese junk. And I feel like they're finally realizing if they make quality and compete with the pricing, they could do very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this bike looks and does for you when you get it, just for that reason.
Yeah, it'll be a definite change from the Tenere too to something a little smaller and less powerful.
Yeah, which, the Tenere is great for the highway, but it is a little much for off-road. It's still a big bike, they call it middleweight, but they're still heavy bikes for off-road.
Cool, man.
But you'll make it look like a little bike the way you ride.
Yeah. You'll make it look easy.
Yeah, he does.
I can't wait. It'll be fun. Bad timing, though. Winter's hitting right now. We're getting snow here this week.
So especially where you're at. Once that snow settles in, you're kind of.
I might have to take it out west or go south.
I don't know about Ty from Tennessee, but I had snow last Friday. Just a couple of days ago, we woke up and we had a half an inch of snow on the ground. And I live in North Carolina. It's not supposed to snow here.
Really? Wow.
There's Jody. Jody wants to know if you're cold, Tom.
You better explain yourself a little bit.
If what?
Somebody said
Jody
you're
wants-
cold. Are you cold?
Jody wanted to know if you were
Explain what
cold.
you're doing.
Oh no, I'm actually well, I'm a little cold. I'm in the garage, our workshop, slicing up fish for the holidays. We have so many orders coming in, so I'm trying to multitask here.
Cool. And then we'll get to the last one. John, what's going on? What's new?
Same stuff, different day. Got a new T-shirt video in 2 or 3 months when I get around to it. It's been quiet around here. We got the flurries like Patrick saw on Friday, but I got out for a ride today, so we'll see. We could get inches of snow next weekend. Who knows? It's the winter in the Mid-Atlantic, so give it a few days, you're fine. No new bike. You know what? Since we last spoke, and I never miss an opportunity to put my hands on this.
Oh,
I
yeah,
got a
your
new
new
camera. So, yeah, we got to flip this around, right? It's got to be right side up. There you go, Tomek. I got a Canon
Whoa.
R6 Mark II with the 24-105 USM professional lens.
I have no idea what you said, but it looks awesome.
I bought a
Yeah, I'm
camera
with
that
you.
costs as much
I'm with
as
you,
your
Tom.
Moto.
It's a camera.
Yeah, it's Japanese junk.
He's,
Oh, okay, yeah.
John, always with the new cameras and the new toys.
Yep.
It's always
Well,
something.
it's what I do. I use the motorcycle as a subject for photography and an excuse to buy more cameras to take them with me on rides.
There you go.
I could ride, I could drive a Miata and do this or ride a Can-Am. It doesn't really matter. The bike is immaterial. It's just a subject for photos.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we can probably get on. That kind of gave everybody a chance for some people to get in here to do little roundups. So
Yep. You want to welcome some of these folks as you see them? I see Craig and Scott, Jody, Roger's in there, Critter Moto.
yeah, there's a lot. I
Right.
can't keep track of it. I'm not good at this. Is the first time that I've actually been in control of one of these and trying to keep track of all the people. But
I fully expect to be kicked out at least a half dozen times, Dewey.
oh, as payback, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Unlike some people, I'm a pretty nice guy, so I might just let it go.
You might. Craig says he got a new camera. What'd you get, Craig? Leave me a comment below. Link in bio.
There's cool, Craig.
I'm always curious what new
Yeah,
cameras
let us-
people are running.
Let us all know, especially if it's an action camera or photography. Which one?
Oh,
I
talking
got a
about new
360
cameras,
X4.
Now that's
Oh.
what I'm interested in, Craig. I want to know all about it.
so I'm getting rid of the GoPros. I gave up on them. I'm selling them.
I may be there myself. I'm super close at the moment. Had a bad day with GoPros today. Roger in the chat will tell you.
Yeah.
I think he heard my intro to a video about 100 times today.
You guys with your issues. GoPro just fixed the Hero 12. It finally works with the remote properly.
Mm-hmm.
I still never trust anything GoPro does to stay lasting very long or working. I've had nothing but trouble sometimes with them, but at the same time as I've gotten to film what I film, so
Yeah.
and they've
And
survived.
I've not had hardly any problems with the 7s until today. And of
Hmm.
course, it was 48 degrees when I left the house, so maybe that had something to do with it.
Oh yeah.
No.
No, you don't think so? The cold?
I've run my Hero 8, 9, 10, 12, and Max anywhere from 35 to 105 degrees. And the number of failures I've had, you can fit on a hand that hasn't been sliced by Tomek.
All right. Well, when was the last time? I think the very last live you did, Dewey, with anyone was with New Biker over in England.
Yeah, it was with New, and because I know Andre and the Brazilians were in watching with them because they were able to do the Portuguese translation.
Okay.
And because Noob is Portuguese and
Right.
but lives in London, and so they speak in Brazilian Portuguese. They were able to ask their questions that way, which was nice for my friends in Brazil to get to speak their native language with somebody.
That's very good. Good.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be a long while because it's been a long time, but catch us up just a little bit. Now, the last time I remember alive, you talked about you had just gone to Ushuaia at the very bottom of the world.
Yeah.
And of course, since then, you've been coming back north.
Yeah. Since then, I have come back north. I've gone through Argentina, Uruguay, Brazil, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, and I'm back in Colombia. Since that last route, so I've covered the entire continent since Ushuaia, really, and including stuff, initially going to Brazil and Uruguay and Paraguay was never really anywhere on my radar places to go, and I went to all of it. Right now, the videos right now were from Uruguay. And next is Brazil, and with Andre. Andre is going to be in a lot of the Brazil videos. And yeah, so I mean, just tons of stuff has happened since the trip. Obviously, there's always been changes and ups and downs and good and bad. And, it's not what I envisioned in my head, and I've gotten to do a lot of different things and did them differently than I expected to, and I'm still doing it differently.
Well,
The battle plan never survives contact with the enemy.
Yeah, that's true.
why was Uruguay not on your list?
I mean, it's a small country, and there's no real, unless you want to go there or you're going to Brazil, there's no real reason to go through Uruguay, really. And I didn't know anything about it. So,
well, I just watched a video today from some guy named Dewey who was in Uruguay, and it looked pretty awesome.
It turned into one of my favorite little countries. It's very small, but some of the friendliest people of the whole trip were in Uruguay, and the writing and the scenery and everything was just, it was very interesting. It was very different than I maybe expected, and it was definitely, it's one of the more expensive countries in South America and one of the better economies, which for good and bad is nice. You spend a little bit more money on food and hotels and beer and things, but it also, it seemed like it was a very safe country. People were very friendly. You had less worries sometimes. So I really enjoyed it.
That's awesome because it looked beautiful. I mean, that video today, all along the water, man, that looked nice.
Yeah.
You're reading the comments now. I can see.
I am. You can see. Yeah, I was adding critters here. I'll pop critters
I
up
gotta
here.
fess up, Dewey. I've been slacking on your videos. When I get a chance,
okay,
I need
man.
to sit down for like a couple hours and catch up on them. I think the last one was the last one I watched. I think we were coming back up. Gosh.
I appreciate that, critter. I'm glad I get to share it. That's one of the cool things about doing YouTube and doing this stuff is that I get to share it in a way that I might not have otherwise. The pictures and the Instagram and all that stuff, shows snippets of it, but I think the videos kind of get to show a lot more of a little bit of what it's like, and it's kind of the way the scenery goes on certain days and times. It's more than just a snapshot.
And I think Critter nailed it on the head. For us that aren't going to do it, even if we talk about it and we might like to do it, we're not going to do it. It's so awesome to watch you do it.
Carson's here. Hey, Carson.
Yep.
What's
Carson,
up,
the man behind the 360 camera in my videos. So you left Ushuaia and you've been going north. What was one of the highlights since you turned around? Now, I know your goal was to get to the southernmost point that you could possibly go, So since then, what were some of your goals that you've achieved? What were some of the things that surprised you? You know, what have been the highlights? And of course, we got to talk about a certain recent low light.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's part of the reason that I have the time to do all this, right? Is the low life part. But highlights. There was a few, as you'll see. Shortly in the next couple of weeks, the videos for this will come out. Is Southern Brazil was just fantastic. Again, it was somewhere that was never on my list. I was never planning to go to Brazil for a few reasons. Initially, I was thinking of avoiding Brazil and not doing that part of it. And I ended up obviously meeting Andre and Alessandra and Cristiano and the Brazilians in Chile. And so I decided then, that's why I ended up in Uruguay and going to Brazil, was that I wanted to go to meet up and ride and see their country and see them again. But I was just blown away by how beautiful southern Brazil and the southern part of Brazil is. It's incredible. You guys are going to see the videos about it, and you'll get to see Andre and some of the interactions with Andre and I, and the smiles, and just having a good time with seeing a friend again. So that was definitely one of the big highlights, was that I got to see Andre again and see a beautiful part of the world. A couple of the other big highlights was Bolivia. I did the infamous or famous Lagunas route in southern Bolivia, which took 3 days. I did it with 3 other riders that I ended up meeting quite literally on the side of the road in San Pedro de Atacama, Chile. I'll tell the story about that in the YouTube video, about how we kind of all met up and how that whole timing worked out. But yeah, 3 days through sand and everything, and you never go below 14,000 feet, Patrick, on that entire route.
Man,
the whole thing is above 14,000 feet, that road, for 3 days, fighting through sand and high altitude and wind and cold. And
if I remember correctly, a couple of drop bikes.
Okay, a couple of drop bikes. So that's really one of the highlights. I'm glad that I got to do it. I was worried about it. It's one of the most remote areas in the world that you can ride a motorcycle still. It's kind of one of the real adventure routes, though. When you get there, it wasn't as remote as I thought, because they do take 4x4 tours through that area. So there are some 4x4s coming through with some tourists and things. So there are some people out there.
Okay.
But that's
now,
one of the
if I
highlights.
remember correctly, wasn't Andre the guy that went up on that 14,000 feet and above in like a hooded sweatshirt?
In a hooded sweatshirt. No, that was in you're talking in Argentina. Through Patagonia National Park, where I did that with forget the name of the young man from Argentina. But
Okay.
no, Andre, I did the Carretera Austral with.
Okay.
And Torres del Paine and everything.
You meet too many people. I can't keep up.
Yeah. Did you get married yet?
No, that's not the big news. Purple. I didn't have any issues.
But you did
Other
get
people
sick.
other people I rode with did and had struggles. So I was lucky that I didn't struggle with it. When you're especially at 15, 16, 17,000 feet, you can, even if you're not getting altitude sickness, you can feel the lack of oxygen. You just don't have the energy, or everything takes a little bit more effort at those altitudes.
Now, Tomek, you got to answer a question real quick.
Yeah.
What's that?
Mm-hmm.
Crittermoto wants to know what you're doing.
I know. I'm sure you're like, what the hell is this guy doing? All right. So I'm slicing up smoked salmon. This is what my family specializes in. This is Norwegian salmon. I'm just slicing the skins and getting them ready to package tomorrow. Because the holidays, we're just so swamped. It's like nonstop work, 7 days a week right now.
So we're gonna all watch Tomek work and cheer him on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if he screws up, we'll call him Stumpy.
Yeah, if I'm bleeding, missing a finger in a second, you know why? This fillet knife's a little bit sharp.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
This is a knife.
There you go.
Oh,
Dewey,
wait, no.
did you?
This
Hey,
is a
Dewey.
knife.
Yeah, put that little thing away. That's what she said. Hey, Dewey, when you went up to those elevations, and I know you were hiking around, did you do any like, oh, let's go test the waters and come back, and then expand your horizon, as it were, with the elevation and the hiking?
Yeah, there were ways that I was able to do that a little bit, and kind of some of the way that I planned the route. Kind of before I got to some of the big, really high stuff, I kind of got some stops intermediately and did some up and downs. But part of it was when I got to San Pedro de Atacama, you go over like a 16,000 foot pass between Argentina and Chile to get there, but then you drop down and it's at about 7,000 or 8,000 feet. And I ended up staying a week or so in San Pedro before we did the Lagunas route, trying to figure out who was going to do it and coordinate everything. And I did a few different day rides around there where you can go up to 15 or 16,000 feet during the day, and I could go do a hike and do some stuff and then come back and sleep at a lower elevation in San Pedro. We did a little bit of that. And
Nice.
I was riding with another rider on a Tenere 700 named Jesse from Salta, and we did a bunch of stuff. You'll see all the stuff we did when those videos come out and before. And he was struggling with some of the altitude, so just to help him out, we kind of needed to do the up and down and choose where we were at because he wasn't able to handle the altitude quite as easily as I was, and so we needed to be really quite aware of where we chose to stay and for the nights when we were traveling and things like that to try to get him acclimatized better.
I've got to know, before we get to why you're in one place right now, there was a couple of times on Instagram and stuff that you talked about being sick. I know there was a couple different times. What was it that got you sick, and how long did it knock you down?
Since Ushuaia, really, I got sick once, and I got really sick. I caught dengue fever when I was in. I'm pretty sure I caught it in Cordoba, Argentina, and then when I went to Buenos Aires, I wanted to spend quite a bit of time in sea because Buenos Aires is an amazing city, and I had booked an Airbnb for I think 10, 11 or 12 days, and basically the night that I got there, the fever, all of it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I spent almost the entire time in my Airbnb and never left it, just sick with dengue, and recovering from it. So that was really kind of the only real sickness I had, other than no, I got sick after the Lagunas route because it was so cold up there, and when I got to Uyuni and the Salt Flats, I think I was sick for 5 or 6 days with a cold. But that was just from the spoiler alert, but this was when the videos come out, it was about, I think we looked and it was 25 Celsius below zero a couple of the nights that we were up there on the Lagunas route, which is, I think, in the single digits Fahrenheit nighttime temperatures. So yeah, it's very, very cold up there, and especially that time of year. And it was okay. It was getting up to upper 50s Fahrenheit during the day when the sun was out, because you're at such high altitude, the sun really impacts it. But as soon as the sun started to get low, it got cold fast. One of the more memorable things to explain how cold it was, one of the nights we stayed, there's the hot springs at one of the stops, and we stayed there. And there's a little guest house, and it's 200 yards, if that, from where the hot springs are. So we went down and we're in the hot springs, which were brilliantly hot and comfortable. And if you've watched Long Way Up with Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman, they stop at these hot springs when they did this route. So you'll know the place if you've seen that. But it was so cold that when I got out, I took my swimming trunks off, put my normal clothes back on, and then started to kind of run the 200 yards back to the guest house. By the time I got to the guest house, my swim trunks were already frozen solid in my hand.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
It was that cold. So,
Yeah, no, I'll pass.
Yeah. So I got sick after doing that. Luckily, it didn't hit me while I was up there and out in that remote area. It hit me when I got to Iuni. But I spent, I think 6 days or something sick there, and then the dengue in Buenos Aires. Those were really the two times that I think I got sick.
Jody had a question about the dengue fever, however you pronounce that.
Yeah.
Is that something you went to the doctor for and got a vaccine, or is it just something that has to run its course?
You have to let it run its course. So I'll pop it up here. So dengue is in the malaria family. It's mosquito-borne. And there is no cure or anything they can do. The big worry is that what happens is your blood thins, and if you have a really bad reaction, you can bleed internally through your veins and stuff because your blood gets thin enough that it goes out through your veins. And one of the ways you know that you have dengue is after your fever breaks, as your blood kind of re-thickens and redoes its thing, you get a rash. I got it on my chest, and really badly, the palms of my hands and feet swelled up really badly and got really tender. But there is a vaccine, kind of, but generally they won't give it, and they say it's not effective unless you get it after you had dengue the first time. So you have to have it so that your body's kind of aware of what dengue is. Then they can give you this booster vaccine that will help you with future, not getting in the future, and with other strains, because it's actually quite dangerous to get it a second time. So I have to be very careful now around mosquitoes, especially in dengue areas, because they say that the second time that you get it, it's much more dangerous and it's much more likelihood of complications and things like that. So
It sounds like a hemorrhagic fever.
yeah, it's not fun.
It doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that in the malaria family. I'd put that in like the Ebola family.
Well, no, I mean it's in the malaria family of viruses. It's one of it's very similar, but the reaction to it is because is
Wow.
you have blood. So that's people have a lot. There's people that in countries like Brazil and Paraguay, and last year was a really bad dengue year. Paraguay, you couldn't buy mosquito repellent in the whole country because they ran out of it because everybody was buying it for dengue, and they had such an outbreak. And Brazil has a lot of problems with it. Something like 2 million people in Brazil last year caught dengue, and there's a lot of people that die from it. So it's a real disease. It's not fun. I got lucky that I had a fever for 3 or 4 days. I had some upset stomach, and then I had the rash and this recovery from it.
Aren't you scared to death of mosquitoes now?
I'm well aware of them. Luckily, where I'm at now in Colombia and stuff, the dengue is less of an issue here because it's certain varieties of mosquito that carry it. It's like the Indian tiger mosquito or something that's more common. It's more common on the Amazonia side of South America.
How the hell would I know it's an Indian tiger mosquito, not just a regular mosquito?
You're right.
Flying around.
The stripes, man.
Right,
The stripes.
Keep the doors closed, Nick.
Oh, Indian tiger.
Yeah, I'm not a real expert on it, if I'm quite honest. It's I only know what I know because I caught it and I did some research on what I got and how I probably got it. So
when the Indian tiger mosquito is close to you, you hear a roar, not a buzz.
It's bad when the mosquitoes are roaring.
Right.
Yeah, I mean you can probably if Andre was in the chat or something, some people who live in Brazil in that area that deal with it a lot more than me probably know a whole lot more about it.
I'm with Glenn. I'm glad you're okay. Speaking of,
Yeah. Thanks, Glenn. I'm I'm glad I'm over that too. It really was not fun. I can't.
Before we move on, Patrick, the Asian tiger mosquito is small, black and white, lives native to Southeast Asia, but has spread to almost every part of the world. And it's a 1/4 inch long and has a white stripe down the middle of its head and back. Not so much that you can tell when you smack the damn thing.
Right.
You're going to see like striped blood, I guess.
Yeah, and it's flying around, and you're looking at it. Whoa, there's a white stripe.
Yeah.
But John fact checked me. I wasn't making up the name and the information.
Yeah, he was fact checking.
I wasn't. That was not a fact check. That was a fact finding mission that I went on just to add to everybody's knowledge base.
Yeah. No, that's good. But yeah,
all I needed to know was that it would give you dengue fever. I don't want any part of it.
It specifically says that they are endemic in North Carolina in the elevated regions.
Yeah,
so
yeah, sure.
Patrick is going to be buying all the DEET and off that he can.
Mosquitoes don't like me anyway, so I'm good.
They love me.
And so you've been putting out the videos pretty regularly now. There was a period of time there where you didn't put any out for a couple of weeks. That was because
it was more than a couple of weeks. It was. I looked. It was almost 3 months between videos.
Yep. I wasn't going to go there, but yes, it was a long while.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Dewey got married. Dewey got married, and he was on his honeymoon, and that's why he wasn't putting out videos.
I think there might have been a marriage around, but I don't think it was Dewey's.
Yeah, no, it
was
wasn't
it Tomek?
mine.
Did Tomek get married?
No, one of the. So, I ended up flying back to the U.S. for 2 weeks, and then on to Italy. So I'll get to that. But I had a really good friend who got married, and I was in the wedding party. And so the timing of that, I needed to be somewhere where I could park the motorcycle and fly back for that. And of course, the timing happened where I needed to leave just after Peru. So I was really in a rush because last time I rushed through Peru and I had a miserable time and I didn't get to see Peru and I didn't enjoy it.
Coffee. You needed coffee.
And I didn't get coffee. And this time I wanted to give Peru a real chance and spend more time in the mountains and the Sacred Valley, all that stuff. So I wanted the time to be able to do that, but I had a date that I knew I had to be back in the US for my friend's wedding. And so I, quite honestly, I was very busy from the time I hit really from Salta and the north of Argentina all the way through Bolivia and Peru was just almost constant the whole time. I took very, very little downtime, and I didn't spend a lot of time editing because I was so busy doing stuff all the time, and I was always writing. And if I wasn't writing, I was doing stuff like Machu Picchu,
right?
And other things like that. So that kept me busy. And then I took the month basically because I went back to the States for 2 weeks in Oregon. Then I flew with my family to Italy. It was my parents. The timing worked out brilliantly. It was my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. So congratulations, Mom and Dad. And I don't know if they're probably not.
Congratulations,
watching.
Dad. I know you can hear us.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
And so we went and did that. And then after my family headed back to the States, I was in Italy. And so I took the time and I took the train up to meet with Giorgio, who was just in the video 2 weeks ago, my friend from Italy that I met in Patagonia. So that was really neat to get to. Several months later, he had ridden from Patagonia all the way to Mexico, flown back to Italy, and was back in Italy. And then I flew and got to go stay with him for 5 days and see where he lives. And I borrowed one of his motorcycles. We went to some motorcycle events and did some riding around northern Italy. And then I came back and picked up the bike and continued. So yeah, between all of that, the lead up to it and all of that, I just didn't take the time and wasn't willing to put in the time to be editing videos and get it done. So that was the reason there was the big gap in the videos.
Now, Carson had a great question right there.
Carson asked my question.
I did not. I have pictures and some little video clips that I'll probably include kind of a here's what happened, because I know I talked about it in my helmet when I got back to the motorcycle on what happened in real life because the videos come out, one after the other. You don't realize there's a month gap because it's me riding into Quito, Ecuador, and then me leaving Quito, Ecuador, and there's a month that wasn't there. And so I think I talked about it. I'll probably put some clips up, but no, it was, this wasn't about making a video, and it was really just getting to spend some time with a new friend of mine. And I hope I don't spoil it for anybody, but Giorgio is talking about doing Alaska in maybe 2026. So
now we have an endpoint for your trip. You have to be back in Oregon by 2026 so that you can ride to Alaska with Giorgio.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll have to find out what's happening, what I do, because I'm going to at some point have to get a job again and work. So, yeah.
You know what? Speaking of that, you're 5 subscribers away from 1,000. So that job might get delayed just a little bit with the videos. You got to
I don't think I'm going to make the money up with YouTube. And I just looked. We're 3 away. We're 997.
How even better
right now. So three more to go. And then this might be a 1,000 subscriber live stream as well if we can get 3 more in the next hour.
Yeah, smash that like button like it owes you money and hit subscribe.
Yeah, everybody, please subscribe to Dewey's channel. We got to get him over the 1,000 and to get his watch hours up and get him a couple of dollars for that coffee that he's so desperately
Money.
And and Patrick's not allowed to mention the R word because I hear Jody in the comment section over there. She's already like WORK ? I don't think so.
Work.
Yeah, but yeah, I will. Someone else work too.
It's funny
I don't know
though.
if I'll have the time. I was gonna say I don't know that I'll have the time to go to Alaska with Giorgio at least all the way. But I'll definitely have him stay with me, and when he gets there, and we'll help get a bike figured out and how we're gonna do that and all of that. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I really like Giorgio, and it's quite a fun dynamic because this is the stuff that doesn't get mentioned in the videos. I just mentioned that we did the Balbitos together. And then we met up, multiple times after that, and you see in the videos. But Giorgio doesn't speak a word of English, and I obviously don't speak any Italian. So we kind of have our own communication that is a weird mix of an occasional English word, an occasional Spanish word, an occasional Italian word, and we figured it out. We just get along, and we were able to become good friends through all of our meetings despite the language barrier. So I'm looking forward to seeing Giorgio again, especially back in the US, and him getting to go to Alaska and finish that part of it.
That's so awesome. I love that.
You guys are the odd couple.
We are. Yeah, they are. It's good though. I really like that, that there's a few people, like Andre, and getting to see Andre multiple times, and Giorgio and stuff, that there's a few people that I've met along the way that are genuine, long-term friends. That's not somebody that we just met and then go our separate ways and never talk to again. There's a few people that I've seen multiple times, and we keep making plans to keep seeing each other. So again, if Andre is watching, I'm sorry, we'll get to that, but Andre and I were going to meet up in Peru early in January, which isn't going to happen now. So I signed up. So Andre and I got to figure out when we're going to see each other again after that. But yeah.
Now, Paul had a great question. Have you ever tried the Google Translate?
Oh yeah. I have to use Google Translate quite a lot. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good, and it works.
There's that. Yeah. That's the Google Translate. Yeah. No, it does. It works for sure. But it's always a little bit harder when you go back and forth with text and a phone and translate. It's not the same, as even if you don't speak the same common language, if you find a way to communicate verbally back and forth, it's just a lot more genuine, I think. So we try to do that as we can. And luckily, Italian and Spanish are quite similar. So there's a good amount of crossover for Giorgio so really the big limiting factor is my ability to speak Spanish. So the better I get at Spanish, the easier it is, even in Italian.
Tomek should have taught you everything he knows.
Yeah. Tomek picked up Spanish in Mexico he was a lot better than I was back then. I think now I might have the edge though. I've been down here a while, but it wouldn't take Tomek long though if he was down here more to get pretty good at Spanish.
Now, Carson had a question: how accurate is the Google Translate, or do you really know? Because
I assume that it's about as accurate in going into Spanish as it is when people use it to try to tell me something if I don't understand what they're saying in Spanish. And it's fairly accurate, but there's certainly gotcha words where it doesn't come close, and you kind of have to read between the lines. And I think that that's probably the same way. There's words where the literal translation does not work and for that word and the way they use it, but they understand because you can piece together.
Okay.
Context clues.
You have to put Craig's comment up on screen. I use Google Translate all the time, even in West Virginia.
Even when he went to Virginia, reading comprehension, Patrick.
I know. I like the idea of West Virginia, but yes, that's awesome.
Well, West Virginia and Southern Virginia have almost the same dialect, so they get along.
I've heard many different versions of accents since I've moved here, and West Virginia is one of the toughest to
understand.
What's the word? Understand?
Yeah. If you've ever been to Dundalk or Essex, Maryland, then you go to West Virginia, they're pretty close. Tomek just speaks Swedish fish, though. Slice and dice.
All right, John. Well, we're 42 minutes in, and the elephant in the room is still there.
Yeah.
Are we almost about to break the big news, or what do you think?
We probably should.
Breaking is the key word.
Wait.
Breaking is the key word for the people who don't know. Yeah, part of the reason that I have the time for the videos, everything is I'm currently in Colombia, and I had a bit of a fall on a dirt road and broke my ankle. So I've had surgery and I'm recovering, but it's going to be a process before I'm back. So I'm stopped and I will be here a while. So yeah, it gives me lots of time to edit, for be honest, and time to do things like this. From now, probably another couple 2 to 3 months, and yeah, badly broke. If you don't know, the only people who probably don't know are people who don't follow me on Instagram. I posted the X-ray of the broken ankle on Instagram. Yeah, much better. Quite honestly, I was in full gear and boots and everything. Not to throw stones at Moto Giant. Let me throw Patrick up there. Hang on. Here, Patrick.
I don't know if it's going to show him because of the lighting.
There's a solo. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. Oh, you can go check my Instagram if you're interested in seeing a picture of it.
Yep. Yeah. It's a white X-ray on the white screen. It's hard to see, but it's broken.
Yeah, it's very broken. It's been surgically repaired. I think I have the picture from after the surgery on mine.
Did it hurt a little bit?
It hurt a lot.
And it hurt for more than just when it happened.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 screws and a plate in my.
Wow.
Oh,
Good grief.
Jesus, Frankenstein.
Yep. So that's what they needed to do to put my ankle back together.
Damn.
You'll be setting off all the metal detectors.
Yeah. I'm just, I've been sitting around long enough now that I'm ready to, get on with the physical therapy and try to start moving and start getting better.
So I have a follow-up question then. Obviously,
Thanks-
probably the
thanks,
boots
Ty.
were probably trashed, right? Are you going to be able to wear the same size boot on both feet?
I should, yeah. I should it should be back to normal, once the sweat and everything and I get back to shape. I'm more worried about losing because I'm not walking and I can tell already that that leg is getting quite skinny compared to the other leg, even in the thighs and everything because I'm getting around with crutches when I do move. And so yeah, that's the
So
it's
physical
gonna be a
therapy.
process. And my boots aren't trashed. I mean, they're
You
there.
just fell on it and it broke.
Yeah, I mean the motorcycle landed on my leg, and I was in CD Adventure boots, which are better than they're not a motocross boot by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, they didn't seem to do a lot to stop this, at least with that much weight force landing on it and the angle and the way that it did.
So the reason I asked was because I knew a Moto Guzzi racer, and he wore two completely different size shoes, one on either foot. And he went to the shoe store one day, and there was a guy in there, and they literally had the same exact problem, but opposite feet. So they went in. He bought a size 12. The other guy bought a size 11 or whatever the sizes were, and they swapped the left and rights. So they got a full pair of shoes each.
Yeah, no, I mean I should be fine because it's all in my ankle and my lower and the fibia, right? I mean that's where the big fracture was the fibia, and that's the displaced. So that's where the big plate is with all the screws on the side there.
Right,
so,
and I was worried about the above the ankle protection that's built into the boot. If it's too tight, it wouldn't be able to handle the extra girth of your new leg.
That's adjustable.
Okay.
So you're laid up, and Donkey Sunrise. You're laid up, and you're in a foreign country. You don't really have a lot of people around. So tell us how you're being cared for.
Well, first off, because the perfect timing on that comment, Tommy, it happened. The break happened while I was at Donkey Sunrise. So one of the things I wanted to do when I got here, because there's still issues with Mexico and all of that with the stolen motorcycle and going through. So I was part of it. I wanted time in Colombia to figure out what I'm going to do after this and what that looks like. So I just wanted to volunteer and spend some time at Donkey Sunrise, just being there and helping out and helping other riders. They come through all of that stuff. So it happened while I was there, which is, I mean, really, if you're going to hurt yourself in a foreign country in a different place, doing it somewhere where it's like Donkey Sunrise is the place to do it, because I wasn't alone. Tim at Donkey Sunrise went out of his way to help me get to and from the hospital 2 hours away where there's proper orthopedic surgeons and could look after me, get me to the ER, get me to the surgery appointments, all of that stuff. So I was super lucky to have that. And then what I've done is I've rented an Airbnb for a couple of months, and my dad flew down and is staying here with me. So he's a huge help.
That's what dads do.
That's what dads do. And, even as they're getting older and, we're, he still came down. And so it's great because I can't walk, and even things you don't think about it, because you go, oh, you can't, I could just get everything delivered, but I can't even carry a shopping bag or a delivery bag because the only way I can stand up is with crutches. And so both my hands are full with just So I can't do anything on my own. I can't even make a cup of coffee and then move to the couch and sit down because I can't carry a cup of coffee and crutches at the same time. So I'm actually quite
Gotta have
helpless.
your coffee.
Yeah,
Coffee
I'm
mug?
actually quite helpless. So it's great having my dad here because he's able to, just little stuff like that during the day is
Coffee
something
mug. Do it. You need a
absolutely
coffee mug with a lid, and you can sling the grocery bags in between your fingers and your thumb, and then grab the crutches. I've seen people carry grocery bags on crutches.
Yeah, I did it, and actually, there was 3 or 4 days that I was here by myself before my dad got here, and I was able to do stuff because as long as it was just right, I could hold the bag. I could put it either over my shoulder if it was, depending on what it was, or I could hold the bag and the handle and crutch. But it wasn't easy, and for things like food deliveries, where you want to try to keep something intact, that's not a great way to go about it because it swings around, it hits stuff, it drops, it won't stay level. Your burger will fall apart or whatever, And
Well, Jody had a good point. What about those little scooters where you can put your knee up on it?
yeah, I don't have one of those. I don't know that it would. I don't know how I'd get around with that. I mean, the hope is that I start being able to put weight on my foot and start walking, even, if it's using a cane and other things more, but be able to get around more without full on crutches all the time. But yeah, it's going to be a process. The surgeons set the expectation to not get ahead of myself and to not plan on being able to walk unassisted for, around 3 months. So it's a long process.
Yeah, it is. And like Jody said, God bless your dad.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan, Dane there, he's right. Don't rush it.
Yeah. No, I'm doing what the medical people tell me to do to a T, so that's the thing. I will work as hard or not as hard as they tell me to, whatever's going to be best for long term.
I'm
That's
actually
good.
really bummed out it happened because I was talking with Dewey. I'm like, hey man, I could probably get a week off and meet you down there in Columbia and check out that Donkey Sunrise. And we were really talking about it. It was gonna happen. I already have a plane ticket, not bought, but I found an $800 round trip from Colorado to Columbia. And then Dewey sends me the photo. I'm like, what the happened?
And yeah, you're one of the people because I knew that you were right at the cusp of we talked about dates.
Yeah, it was at the cusp of booking it. Seriously.
Yeah, and you were 2 weeks away from being there. You were
Pretty much,
right on
yeah.
the cusp of booking it. And we'd been talking to Tim at Donkey Sunrise, about motorcycles and rooms for Tom
find
and
a
everything.
bike, figure out the room thing. How do I get to Donkey Sunrise on a bus from the city? It was in the works. And then so you know what?
It's good that it happened before you actually were on your way down there, but so close.
Yeah, I'm just bummed out because I would still like to come down, but I was really looking forward to just hang out with Dewey and just doing some exploring with him, for a week down there. But
yeah, I would say you still got to get down there at some point. Even if I'm not there, you'll have a great time. And that goes for anybody who wants to come see Columbia and come to Donkey Sunrise, talk to Tim about renting a motorcycle, and he'll give you routes, things to see. It's an incredible place to go to and see, and there's so much. It's right in the coffee region of Columbia. You get to see some really interesting stuff and cool place. So
I see a lot of
always
their
the plug. That's why I always have the hat. It's after doing literally a lap of South America. This is a place that is unique and worth coming to.
Yeah. Like I said, I see a lot of their pictures on Instagram and stuff, and it looks pretty awesome. Looks like they have a great time.
Yeah. And Craig and them were down here. I can't remember, Craig, did you guys go to, I knew you flew into Bogota. Did you go to Medellin as well, or where else did you go? And then Jarvis went to Cartagena. I knew that he he had been there because I think he commented on it in one of my Columbia videos. But yeah, so that's the update. So the good news is I got lots of time to edit video, so I'm well ahead on the videos now.
Speaking of, how far from where you are to where your videos are? What's the gap?
It's a lot. The video this week, I have to look. It was filmed either the last week of February or the first week of March.
Okay. And so you're months behind.
Yes.
Okay.
You're worse
So
than
you'll
I
be
am.
back on the road long before your videos run out.
I hope so. Yeah, it was March. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, the stuff I'm filming now is March, kind of end of March, beginning of April, and into April is Brazil stuff. Then it's back into Argentina, then into Paraguay, then back into Argentina, and then Bolivia and Peru. And yeah, once the Bolivia and Peru stuff, along with the northern Argentina, there's a lot of videos, a lot of really, that's going to be some of the most amazing videos of all the trip are that section between
Really?
northern Argentina, that circle where you have all the high Andes, it's just, in all of those countries, it's just incredible. And
With the
there's
way
some of
your
the
videos
more,
have been, that's saying something.
yeah, and then some of the more adventurous areas, more of the difficult dirt roads, more of the difficult areas, the elevation, all of it there. Things like the Death Road in Bolivia, the Lagunas route, some remote roads in Peru, Machu Picchu, the Sacred Valley, the national parks in Peru. Yeah, there's a lot. and
That
and
depth
the
road,
drone,
no way,
and,
no thanks.
and the drone will be back. What you didn't see and why there hasn't been drone footage of some of these areas like Uruguay, which would have been fantastic drone footage with all those palm trees and those roads. The drone was broken because I crashed it in Patagonia, doing the Patagonia National Park, the Route 41, the scenic route video with all the cool drone footage.
Oh yeah.
At the end of that, I crashed it in the wind, and I didn't have the part that I needed to fix it until later on. Jesse, who we talked about, one of the guys I met up with, had flown back to the U.S. to visit some family, and so we had the drone parts shipped to him in the U.S. And I met back up with him in Salta, Argentina, when he flew back, and he brought the drone parts with me. So once we get to Salta, that's the northern Argentina stuff, the drones back, and then Bolivia and all that stuff.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Some of that drone footage is just awesome.
Yeah, that's why the videos now don't have any drone footage, as I crashed the drone. and it's
So
I was waiting.
lesson here is stop crashing things.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, as soon as I did it, I knew what happened, but it had already happened. And it was a little bit windy, and I went to launch it from my hand, and I was too close to the motorcycle. And so when it launched right off my hand, the wind moved it just far enough that it ran into the motorcycle and then fell to the ground and broke the propellers. And I didn't have enough spare propellers.
Oh man.
So yeah.
How is the bike after the accident?
What?
How is the bike after the accident?
The bike is fine. The bike fared way better than I did. I broke. Well, I severely bent the brake side peg. So I bought new pegs and put new pegs on, and it knocked one of the fog lights off, but that was just because the screw came out. So I just went and bought a new screw and was able to screw it back in, and just tightening up the hand guard on one side and bend the brake pedal back. The brake pedal was bent a little bit. So yeah, other than that, basically just the peg was really the only damage. Everything else.
Was it the actual bike coming down on you? That's what caused the.
What actually happened is I had my top box on because, as you know, the suspension's quite stiff without my luggage on it. So I had my top box with some stuff
Hmm.
in it to try to keep some weight on the back, but it still wasn't enough. It was still pogo sticking, which is probably why I crashed. Was Tim was behind me from Donkey Sunrise when it happened, and he said the back of the bike came up and like my feet came off the pegs like Superman,
Huh.
and then the front came up like a wheelie, and we went over. And when I landed, the top box is what landed on my foot.
Whoa.
So I was pinned under. I was on the ground with my foot kind of sideways, and
So you
the
actually
top
came
box,
off of the bike, and then somehow it ended up.
and then the top box, the bike was
Put the
next to
knife
me,
down,
and the
Tomac.
top box was on my foot. And
Wow.
so Jim had to lift the bike off and the top box off of my foot, so I could get out. And then of course, with all the adrenaline and everything, you don't realize how hurt you are until you really try to stand up and try to move, and then it's like, yeah. So then we got to sit around. That was the part that was the most miserable. Is we were up quite a ways and on a very rough road, and
Did you
a
ride
guy
it
on a
out?
horse came by, and Tim talked to him, and he was going to go down to try to find somebody with a Jeep that might be able to get up that route to get me down. We never saw him again. Eventually, Tim rode down, went back to Donkey Sunrise, got his truck, and then drove it out. And so I was up there waiting. I was with a French guy. We can give him a plug. He's got a YouTube channel. It's in French, but you can do subtitles. It's Everywhere is Nowhere. His name's Leo. He was there with us. So him and I sat there for like an hour and a half waiting for Tim to get down into town, get the truck, and get back up to where we were at.
So did you have any pain medicine at all?
No.
So you sat there for an hour and a half with a broken leg.
Yes.
Then you got in the back of this pickup truck and jolted yourself all the way back with a broken leg.
Yes, down a very rough road with the truck. I mean, Tim
Oh.
did a fantastic job of trying to be as smooth as he could and get me down, but it was the ride down in the truck was more painful than anything else. The whole process was, and we didn't know the severity of the break. We knew it was not good. We knew that I had hurt myself to the point where I couldn't ride out, obviously, on my own, and but we didn't know the severity of it. But we also didn't want to do anything stupid like take my boot off
Good.
in case there was like a compound break or something like that.
Yep.
Too, when it swells back up, you're never getting the boot back on once you take it off.
Exactly.
It knows. But those are big, heavy boots to have moving around and trying to support yourself in and the weight of the boot in the back of a truck while it's bouncing around off road.
So
Sounds like it was
I have two
a long day.
questions. I have two questions. One,
Yeah.
can Tomac put the knife down before he's acting things out? Because I'm afraid we're going to see. I hope that's chainmail he's wearing. And number two is, Dewey, what's the brand of that top box? And follow-up question, are they going to be sponsoring you moving forward?
It's a GV. I mean, they're a huge brand. It's GV. It's a GV top box. No, GV's not going to sponsor me.
Like you're like
You might have a
showing,
lawsuit against him. Actually, that top box is dangerous.
yeah, but he's showing how tough the GV boxes are. Like, these things will outlast you. Literally, that's the tagline. You're welcome for free.
Yeah, I mean it's the reason that it's the reason that people off road don't like to use hard side bags is because it can catch your leg like that and break it. But the way the bike fell, as I had the same thing happen with a hard top box, caught my leg. I'm generally honestly surprised though that the boots didn't hold up better. I thought that my leg was broken. I was pretty sure it was broken as soon. I didn't realize it was going to be as far down in the ankle as it was. I thought it was going to be farther up the leg, where the boots offer less protection as you get farther up.
Now, do you carry like an InReach device, the Garmin, or
Yeah.
carry the insurance that goes with it?
I have an InReach. I don't think I had it with me because this was we were just going to do a quick hour to an hour and a half little off-road route.
That's when it happens.
And it was, we went in the morning, which was probably a good thing. We went in the morning because we had all day to get me to the ER and spend all day in the ER. We got up and went on an early morning ride before breakfast. That was the plan.
Wow.
To be back by breakfast. We left at 6:30 in the morning to be back at 8 for breakfast.
Wow. So
Yeah.
it was just going to be a quick one, but like
It
I
was
said,
going to be a quick one, so I didn't have my inReach with me. But yeah, especially when I'm alone, I have an inReach on me, and I have the insurance for the evacuation. Plus, I have my own travel and evacuation insurance beyond that, and all of that stuff. And yeah, yes, Carson, those were the boots that I had on.
See you later,
Yeah,
Greg.
yeah, that's a shame that
See you,
happened. But
Greg.
at least you were in the right place, and now your dad's there.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like when the motorcycle was stolen in Mexico. If this is going to happen in a foreign country on a trip, I ended up doing it about the best way you probably can.
Mhm.
When the motorcycle got stolen, I was in the right place. The right people were there, with Carla and Gustavo, and
You got to stay at our hotel.
right. And this time, I was at Donkey Sunrise. I was the right people to help. Tim's wife, Issa, her sister's brother, so their brother-in-law is a doctor, and they called him and said, which hospital, where should we take him, for this type of injury? And they said, go to this place and get the ortho clinic, and they came, and so yeah, and then we had a lot of discussions too, and with the family and things about whether we were going to try to figure out how to get back to the States for surgery, if I was going to try to. But you're also not supposed to fly with a break like that because there's a lot of blood clot risk and things like that. And
So much
you're
to
not
think
able to move too, which increases the risk even farther. And but there was talk about, whether I was going to try to fly back and have the surgery done in the U.S. and recover in the U.S. and then come back, or whether I would do it here. And so we decided that, they think that, the right thing was to just do it here, not try to move me, not try to figure out how to get home, just get it taken care of. And Dad would fly down and hang out and help me out. Yeah, so that's the way it worked out. But
That's awesome.
yeah, now we're going to find out how the insurance process works. I did all the pre-qualifications before I had the surgery. They approved at least the procedure needed to be done and that it would be something that would be covered. But I haven't gotten the money. I put the claim in for that part, but we'll see.
Yeah, and we'll cross our fingers and hope.
Yeah. But, it's something to be aware of. Even if you have the insurance, this is, if you're going to pay for good care, sometimes, as I had to put it all on my credit cards.
Man,
So I need to, and
you
I'll
better
pay
get your
it.
money back.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pay it, so I'm not carrying the balance of my credit cards, obviously, if they haven't paid me back by the time those bills are due. But yeah, you want to be able to make sure that you can float something like, a surgery if you need to. If you're going to do something like this, the insurance is great and you need to have it, but you also have to understand the reality of the fact that
They want to get paid now.
and a good private orthopedic surgeon, they're not going to do their surgery until they've been paid in full. You can go wait in line at the public one.
Is the cost a lot less down there than here?
Yeah, it's significantly less. So I mean, I have no problem saying it, but it was, I spent about $10,000 to $11,000 for the surgery that I had to put on my card.
Yeah, still a pretty penny.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money. So it's no small bit of money, but it's not having, this would be 200,000 in the U.S.
Oh,
Yeah.
So yeah. No, but yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that money gets paid back sooner than later, because it does mean that I have to do some math on on what I do after this, because I still have to get, from Columbia home at some point, and how long that takes and what that route looks like and all of that stuff. Some of it's money dependent. So, having that money back will help with having options for that as well. So,
Speaking
Yeah.
of what's next, has Mexico ever figured out if you're allowed back in the country?
no, last I talked to him right before the accident, right before I broke my ankle, Gustavo tried calling them. They hung up on him when he started asking too many questions about why it had taken why they don't have an answer. Then they wouldn't answer when he called back. But yeah, the consensus is that I'm currently not still allowed in Mexico. The question is why, when, what, who knows?
Maybe never.
Maybe never, maybe the right day at the right border, they don't care and they let me in too. Who knows? That's a choice that I'm going to have to make and it's going to have to happen quick, actually, once I'm healthy. Is because I only have so much time in Colombia. I get 6 months out of but I've been in Colombia for 2 months when this happened, and 3 months to recover. I'll have basically a month from the time that I'm recovered until I need to be out of Colombia, and so it would be whether I go to ship the bike from here to Panama and start Central America at that point, or whether I turn around and head back to maybe Brazil and see Andre and Cristiano, and then ship the bike from Rio to Miami, or and then come up the East Coast and then back to Oregon, or who knows, or if I go down to Valparaiso and send the bike from Chile to Los Angeles, or any number of things that might be options depending on time, money, costs, and how much risk I'm willing to take with Central America. Because if I get to Central America and I get to the Mexican border and they say absolutely not, then I have very limited options on it. So I've got to decide if I'm going to take that risk or not, and try and hope that it works out.
That's a big risk.
Well, how many border crossings are there coming in?
So Panama to Costa Rica, Costa Rica to Nicaragua, Nicaragua to Honduras, Honduras to El Salvador, El Salvador to Guatemala, Guatemala to Belize, Belize to Mexico.
Well, once you get to Mexico, what if you get denied at one crossing? Just go hit the next one.
Yeah.
Hit a couple of them.
Yeah, I mean, either I'm going to get into Mexico. There's really only a couple of good crossings into Mexico.
$100.
Yeah. And the real question is that's fine, but if it's completely a no across the board, if there's no chance of getting into Mexico, is what do I do then? Do I try to figure out how to ship the bike out of Belize? Do I turn around and head back to Panama, where there's lots of shipping companies, but I've got to go all the way back to Panama? And there's a gotcha, which is Costa Rica. When you cancel your import permit when you leave the country, you can't open a new one for 90 days.
Oh, okay.
But you only get 90 days in the Central America fork, which is Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Nicaragua. Those 4 countries share information, so your 90-day entry is only good. The 90 days is for those four countries. So if I have to be out of those 4 countries in 90 days and back in Costa Rica,
You're kind of
and I
screwed.
can't get an import permit for 90 days, that becomes very troublesome, and a real logistics issue to deal with. Because I think I would have to be on exactly the right day, would be my last day in the country and potentially the first day available for me to go back into Costa Rica.
That's cutting it too close.
Or I have to decide that I'm never going to ride a motorcycle back to Costa Rica, and I don't cancel the import when I leave Costa Rica. In case I have to come back, it's still valid, but then I could never do the trip again because I'd never be allowed back in Costa Rica because I'd have an open window.
Wow.
So
Well, you see what Andre said.
Yeah, I vote you go to Brazil.
So Andre is in here. Good, good. I'm glad you're watching, Andre. I don't know if you were on earlier. We were talking about you because with those Brazil videos coming up. But yes, Brazil seems like a good idea. You're one of the people. If I decide Central America is not the route, you're one of the people that was going to be the first person I talked to about where out of Brazil I might think about shipping, and or if I want to go down to Buenos Aires. But either way, I'd go back through Brazil and come see you. That's the plan if I go
Bless
back
you.
that way.
Thank you.
Because I figure from there I could ship out of Brazil or Montevideo or Buenos Aires or any number of places. So there's options if I do that.
Sounds like Brazil's probably your best option. You get to hang out with Andre. You get to be in Brazil.
Yeah,
And then you
I've been
ship
promised. Andre tells me that the beaches in Brazil are amazing, and I've missed out completely. And I went to Florianopolis, and it poured down rain the entire time I was there, so I didn't go to the beach once.
Of course it did.
every time
So-
you say Montevideo in a video, I'm like, hey, like 40 minutes from me, there's a Montevideo road. I've been there.
Yeah, this Montevideo is a little different, John.
Just a little
Just
bit.
a bit.
Yeah.
Wow. So you got a lot on your plate between getting better and figuring out what to do next.
Yeah, I mean, the next 2 months I have nothing but time.
That's true. Yep. Hopefully you're not going to get Nurse Ratchet for your physical therapist.
No, I didn't see the beach, but I did have caparinas. So
What
I
is
had
a-
plenty of
what-
caparinas because there was nothing to do except for drink all day in the rain in the bars, looking at the empty beach where there was nobody at because they weren't partying.
So what
it
is a
was
Caprianus? Caprianus.
It's
a
like the
Brazilian
national drink of Brazil. Andre, what all's in it? It's lime. It's lime based. It's got a lot of lime, but I don't remember what alcohol was in it.
Dewey, it's cachaca. I can't pronounce that right. And then lime, sugar, and ice.
Yeah, so it's cachaca is the alcohol in it. But yeah, they're very good. They go down easy. They catch up to you fast though, because they go down easy. But it's a very good. It's a very good beach drink for sure. It's,
It sounds like a very nice beach drink. I remember the Bahama Mamas. Same thing. They just went down so easy, and then you stand up and go, "Whoa!"
Yeah. No. So yeah, I need to get back to Brazil one way or the other. Whether I go back on the motorcycle or whether it's one of my first vacations when I get back home, will be to go to Brazil and finally see the beaches and hang out on the Brazilian beaches.
Sounds like Andre's got a spot for you all ready to go.
Yep. So that we'll figure that stuff out though in the next couple of months. I'll have a plan because I have a really hard time. It's still hard for me, even when I know it's maybe not the logical or the easy route to not try the Central America stuff to do the trip. I didn't get to see it because the bike got stolen in Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
and I really want to, I'd like to say that I did it all and did the whole trip.
Yeah, you've come this far. You've got to figure out a way to make that happen.
Yeah. So that's, I'm not willing to give up that just yet. Still kind of that's the way I'd like to do it, is to be able to go through Central America and go back and ride all the way home.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had to ship it to South America because of the stolen bike and I had no other choices.
Right.
But if I could ride it all the way home, then I'd feel like I did the full route. I've seen probably more of South America than most people ever get to. Even people who do the full Pan America trip, very few of them do the full lap of South America along with it like I've done. And
Mm-hmm.
especially getting up into Brazil and Uruguay and Paraguay, those places, you don't see the same number of travelers like you do in Argentina and Chile along the famous roads.
Okay.
So we got to see.
You have got to do a lot more.
I've gotten to do a lot and see a lot, but I'd like to be able to say that did the whole Pan America from north to south as well. And then I got through all those countries. And the windshield on my bike is completely asymmetrical because I did all the South America stickers to fit in a gap with all the Central American ones, hoping to fill that gap in with them in order. So I've got to, the bike's just not going to look right in photos,
Yeah, you've got to get the stickers.
Yeah, like in National Lampoon's Christmas Holiday, right? It just doesn't look right in the photos with my part not looking square.
Well, we kind of hope you ride back to the States too, because at least some of us will try to join you for parts of the ride through the States, depending on where you can go.
I mean, no way around it. I'm riding back through the States. There's almost zero chance that I ship the bike back to Oregon because that's going to be massively expensive and very difficult. Realistically,
you Los Angeles.
If for some reason I was to try to ship it from the West Coast, from Lima or Valparaiso would be the only places that I could ship out of on the West Coast. But that would be the only way that going into Long Beach might be doable or make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But anything from Brazil, Montevideo, all that stuff, it's going to go to Miami or Houston or Galveston or something like that. So those would kind of be the places that would be.
If it goes to Miami, I will definitely ride with you for some of it. If it goes to Houston, I will try to ride with you for some of it.
Yeah, but Patrick, is if it goes to Houston, my brother's in Little Rock, so I will. Right, and Carson's
right
6
there.
hours from my brother. I know that. I've made that ride before.
Yep.
So right, there's no way that I'm going to be that close and not go to see you guys and my brother and stuff, and if I have the time and the money, the hard part is the money in the US. It's basically in one night in a hotel and dinner in the US is 2 weeks of travel for me in South America.
Wow, that's crazy. So I think what you just said is that there is going to be a big party at Carson's on at least one night.
Yeah, maybe Carson's. That'd be a good because that's probably about a one really long day ride or 2 days for you, depending on how you do it.
Well, come on. I just went to South Dakota in one day. I think I can get to Meridian, Mississippi in one day.
Yeah.
Be careful if you advertise that you're having a party, because Craig, Moto Travels, will show up. I don't care how far away it is.
Hey, did you see what Wayne just did from Jarvis Biker?
All right, I'm done with work, guys.
I saw Jarvis.
Congratulations.
Yeah, Fish is done for the day.
Done for the day.
Hey, there you go.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. I don't have anything. I'm pain medicine.
Gatorade.
I'm not supposed to be drinking.
Water.
Yeah, Wayne went
Water.
from Ontario, Canada, all the way down to Texas to do a one-day ride with some YouTubers down there. That's awesome.
He did that, and Craig rode all the way across Canada to go to Van.
Mhm.
He did. He showed up, and I have the hat somewhere back there.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah. But
All right, Tomek, now that you-
there's a lot of stuff that I would like to do if I come into Miami or Houston or wherever. There's certainly some stuff in the Southeast and the East Coast that I'd like to go do as long as I can figure out how to do it on the budget that I need to, because if you're having to spend $150 or $200 a night on hotels and can't that blows a budget real fast.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So
you come to these
that's
mountains of Western North Carolina, you'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out though. Something will, no matter how I do it, you'll know, Patrick, when I know.
I figured
Right.
that.
Depending on how close you want to get to DC, you can sleep in my trailer.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd love to, I'd like to come visit you, John, and then I'd like to get up to Pennsylvania and see Tom and Jody. And the problem is, there's always more people to see, and there's always more to go.
Especially now that you're going to be at 1,000 subscribers, all these people are going to want a piece of you.
Yeah,
I want my payback for all those shout outs.
For all the shout outs and two away. I don't know if we're gonna get there today or not. 998 as of now.
Tomek's been very busy doing his own thing, so we got to give him the floor. What
Oh, yeah.
questions do you have?
I don't want the floor.
Just because you smell like fish doesn't mean you can't ask questions.
Oh, look at me. I'm a mess. No, we've been busy with work. But hey, I got the bike out today. At least the dirt bike.
I
I don't know
I
if
saw
you
that.
guys even
in
know.
the
I bought
snow.
a gas. I bought a 2022 gas EC300 two-stroke. So that's like the new TPI, transfer port injection. You just put the oil in a front tank, you put the gas in the main tank, and not even worry about pre-mixing anything. It's freaking awesome.
It's moped technology from 25 years ago.
I know, right? They're just
finally
doing
made
it on the dirt bikes.
Dude, I know that because all those scooters from 25 years ago, they had a tank underneath the steering that you put the oil into, and then a gas tank somewhere else that you put the
It's
fuel
not
in.
like new tech. I don't know why they waited. Well, KTM was forced into doing it because of regulations. They needed so many points or whatever. So when I bought the bike, well, I didn't buy it brand new, but I almost bought it brand new with like 4 hours on it from an airline pilot. Hell of a deal. He had like all the goodies on there, resprung for my weight, everything. There's no idle screw. There's no idle screw. They put a set screw where the idle screw is supposed to go, so that way you can't mess with it, and it will, it has to be that way out of the factory. But then everybody, it's like putting an exhaust on a bike. You're like taking the cat off, whatever. Everything's gonna tweak the ECUs, whatever. But that's the bike that I almost broke my ankle on, by the way, because I sprained my foot like 2 months ago, which is still healing, like awful.
25 years ago. I have a feeling that John thinks 25 years ago is the 70s.
Oh, you know what? Get off my lawn. I was speaking from my experience, so I didn't talk out of turn. But 20-some years ago, I had a scooter, a 50cc scooter. So I'm familiar with how it was set up, even though, the brain's a little foggy now from all these years of doing other things. But, yeah.
Well, I was kind of horrified with Dewey's story with the truck ride and the broken, because, when I sprained that foot, I was only about 5 miles from my house in the off-road riding area we have in the backyard. And that was some pain. I was pretty much crying just from a sprained ankle. So I can't even imagine, waiting for hours on end.
Yeah.
I can't either.
I don't know why all the hubbub about riding in pain. Have any one of you three ridden with a severe case of the gout in your left foot on a 900-pound Harley?
So who's the old one here? Somebody with
I
gout?
know why you're not doing that.
No, you know what? I'm on all sorts of meds now for all sorts of stuff. So
Finally, they figured you out, or what? They finally got you on.
You know what? It all takes effect here down, so I'm good. The head is clear.
Better living through chemicals.
Yeah. Now
Better for you.
They put me on meds months ago for my gout because it kept coming back, and I was like, "Come on, I gotta ride the motorcycle. I got YouTube people to please, and entertain." So they put me on medication. I can drink, just that never affected it. It was something else. I think shellfish. Yeah. No shit. It was shellfish.
Are you serious? That's what it was?
Yeah. The last time I got the gout real bad, I had lobster, shrimp, and scallops in one meal, and filet mignon as well. It was one of those hibachi places.
Yeah, it's the rich man's disease. No wonder it flared up.
Yeah, all the good food does it, right?
Yeah. I could do red meat, no problem, but scallops and lobster really messed me up. So I stay away from those. I haven't been drinking this year because I wanted to buy a new camera. So, hashtag priorities. That's the joke I'm telling everybody anyway.
Yeah.
But seriously, have you all ever ridden with gout? You need a heel shifter. Otherwise, you can't shift up past first gear. Not that I ride fast enough.
Gout is for old people, and we're not old.
You know what? I had a primary care physician whose base clientele were in their 70s and 80s. And every time I walked in my early 30s and I said, Doc, I've got this pain in my leg or foot or hand or whatever, he'd go, oh, yeah, I know just the med for that. I got 78 clients with that. So, yeah, I got all the old man diseases already.
28 going on 80.
Yeah, you wonder why I don't ride cross country or ride cross continent. I'm incontinent.
I'm gonna screenshot that.
Yeah, go for it. Make a short out of that.
Make it sure. I'm incontinent.
So, changing the subject, I watched your video, Tom. Not this most recent one, but the one before that, where you're out there riding in the snow. Do you have a bunch of snow on the ground now?
What's crazy is I went that same route today, and there's about, I would say about 85% of that route is dry. And that's how Colorado is. The sun comes out, snow goes away. I mean, it'll be like that for another month, but once January hits, it's going to just be miserable. And then, we got the March. It's like almost like year-round riding if you want to tolerate it, if you get the gear. You can do it, on and off. Maybe not off-road, but the roads get cleared.
What is the elevation that you mainly hang out at? Like, where do you live, and how high do you end up riding most of the time?
So I'm right between Lyons and Estes Park, right by Rocky Mountain National Park.
Okay.
And I live at about 6,500, 6,800 feet.
Okay.
And then the mountain ranges, I mean, where I go, just like today, I went to like 10,500. I did like a loop going out of my house off this. There's an OHV area. It connects me to the other canyon, another OHV area. Just keeps on going up and up and up. And the higher I went, all of a sudden the clouds come in. There's snow blowing in.
Yeah.
But it's not. Colorado's kind of funky like that. Living here long enough, I know if I shouldn't go or I should. But the weather changes in an instant here.
Okay.
But today I was like, the weather, the temps and everything, it won't stick. It might blow in. I'm not going to get stuck on the road somewhere. So it's kind of fun. You're on the highway, snow's kind of blowing in. And it was not bad. It was like 50s, 48, so not terrible.
Okay.
Yeah, that's only mildly colder than it was here today.
I'll send you, Patrick, I filmed some videos of the route that I was going, so I'll send you some photos and videos.
I'd like to see that, yeah. Today, elevation is completely different here. I start at 2,000 feet and I go up to maybe close to 4,000. And it was nice and, I say nice and warm. It was like, high 40s, low 50s when I left. And we went up over the top of the 4,000 feet and there was little bits of snow and stuff on the side. So I was wondering how much of an effect that has going from 6,000 feet or 6,500
right.
feet.
Does it kind of hang out? Yeah, I mean, where I went, there's still snow. Pretty much where the sun won't hit it, it's there, but it's still getting warm enough that it's melting. But there's snow laying around. Roads are kind of clear. Just melt on the roads, but
So,
give it another month.
you can ride from fall to winter in no time.
Pretty much.
Cool.
Yeah. At least I have that, but not as often. I'm kind of a pussy when it comes to cold weather riding. So.
Yeah.
Did you take the dirt bike or did you take the Tenere today?
I took the dirt bike. Yeah, it's sort of kind of plated. It's got plate.
It's got
I had
that's all
my
that counts.
DR
That's all that matters.
A long time ago when I still had the DR 650, I left the house on a beautiful January day, and my dumb butt went up to one of the highest peaks that's around here, which is nothing compared to what you have, but it was still covered in snow and ice, and I promptly threw the bike on the ground a couple of times. Said, I better go back to where the roads are not icy.
I do have a couple of plans coming up if the bike comes in, hopefully in January. I met a couple cool dudes at the Mesquite Rally in Nevada that Rocky Mountain ATV MC was hosting. What the hell was the ADV? I always mess up his channel name.
Who is it?
Moto Ramblings.
No, not that guy. I don't like that
No.
guy. Gosh, I have a sticker in my backpack. Why? I always mess up his channel. I want to make sure I get it right. But anyway, Kyle from Dewey, the tire guy. Kyle.
Not ADV Matt.
Kyle Bradshaw.
Yeah, Kyle Bradshaw. Yeah, I don't know his channel name. I can't think of it now.
He does all the tire reviews.
Yeah,
he
does.
Motos.
Yep.
Tires.
Yeah, he even promotes other channels where they actually talk about him and all the tires he's gone through. I know exactly what you're talking about.
ADV Ready? Dewey? Familiar?
No, I don't think that's right.
No,
No, not his. That's I forgot his first, but ADV Ready. I also met him at the rally. They live in California, so I'm kind of planning to go to Southern California if the CF Moto comes in. I might just haul it out. So,
I'm gonna find out. But yeah, I don't think I could do the snow riding in that super cold weather all the time, but I guess where you're at, you kind of have to.
Just it sucks not being able to ride for weeks at a time. Even if it's for like half an hour, just to get the bike out in the neighborhood if the dirt roads are clear. But it's not the same where you can go on a full day or half day ride.
At Many Bikes is Kyle Bradshaw.
At Many Bikes, and ADV Ready. Met those two guys at the rally. Really cool dudes, and met other people that don't do YouTube as well, and had an invite to Arizona to go ride. So we'll see.
That'd be a nice time to go right now.
yeah.
I know. Well, not yet.
February when it's in the midst
January.
of
Yeah.
January,
Once
February.
the holidays pass, time kind of goes fast now. When January hits, it feels like it's 4 months. January. That's how Colorado feels. Like it's just miserable.
You've just got to get from where you're at to I-25.
Right? I know. I'm not that far. I'm about, if you do a straight shot from me to I-25, it's about 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm just into the mountains out of the flatlands or the foothills.
Yeah, but in February, that could be just getting down to I-25 could be difficult for you.
It's
On the
really
bike.
not bad. It's not bad. I'm just saying we'll have maybe once in a while blizzard comes in. We might be stuck at the house for a day or two, but they do such a great job clearing this stuff that sun comes out in 3 days. It's melted.
That's one of the problems here is that they don't have the equipment to keep the roads clear and stuff. The Bogey Biker who I see is in the comments now. Mm-hmm. He just had a get together down at the Twisted Sisters in Texas. And one of the reasons I didn't go was because I didn't know what the weather was going to be like for when I came home. And as it turned out, I think it was a week later, we had the snow. Of course, it didn't last, but that's one of the dangers of if I go traveling this time of the year is I could get stuck because I can't get home due to snow.
You're retired. You don't have to worry about getting home.
Get a hotel. Get a motel.
But yeah, we don't get that much and not very often, but when we do, these roads are super steep, super twisty, which is a lot of fun unless there's elevation changes with snow and ice.
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly how it is from Lyons to Estes. It's about a 20-mile canyon from Lyons to Estes, and it's just constant elevation gain. So you can start in Lyons with no snow. By the time you get to Estes, you'll be slipping and sliding or get stuck somewhere if it's not cleared.
Right.
So that's what you're thinking of. That's where I'm at. Depending on where you want to go, you just have to kind of know the route.
You have to know what the elevation changes.
If you go down, you'll be okay. If you go up, meh.
Yep. And the same works in the summer. When it's brutally hot, you got to know where the elevation is.
Oh, exactly, yeah. Oh, my gosh, yeah. That's what's so fantastic about all these mountain passes that go up to 14,000 feet. And we have, where I live, it gets to about 85, 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The city gets to about 100 Fahrenheit.
Ugh.
You go to 14,000, feet elevation.
55.
And it's like, 70s, 60s. Oh,
yep.
Breath of fresh air.
Yep.
That heat wave.
I know around here, same kind of thing. I know even on a hot day, if I'm going to go ride up on the parkway or into some of the mountains, to bring a sweatshirt or something because I could get pretty cold.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast the temperature changes with elevation,
Yeah.
Dewey, you
no
mentioned
matter
that
where you are.
when you were riding that route, what was the highest elevation that you hit on the bike?
On the Lagunas route, or on
Yeah.
so
Or
the
what was
highest
the highest?
on the highest I hit in total was 17,200 and something feet.
I'm really
Uh,
curious because when I hit the highest paved road in the U.S., which is Mount Evans, or they changed the name recently, that's 14 something, and my bike was dying at idle. The ECU couldn't handle it, so I'm kind of curious how did the bike do?
The bike was down on power significantly. What's interesting is I would have problems starting it
Uh,
if I didn't do a key off. If I did the kill switch, like to get gas,
yeah.
and didn't key off, and then tried to start it, it wouldn't start. I'd have to key it off. It was like turning the key and the
fuel
kill
pump.
switch both off,
Huh.
and then turning them both on would reset the computer so it would know its altitude again.
Whoa, okay.
So I'd have a lot of problems going up and down and those altitudes if I didn't do that. And then the one that got me was on the Lagunas route. The place we stayed, I think we were at about 15,000 feet, and it got so cold, but my bike wouldn't start in the morning. And I think it was the cold and the altitude combination. So we kind of had to let it sit in the sun for an hour to warm up, and then it was able to get going. But it was quite a rocky entrance to this little guest house, and so we were really worried about. We figured we couldn't bump start on that rockiness because we wouldn't be able to get rolling and dump the clutch. If we got to the bottom, we're at 15,000 feet to try to push a motorcycle. It would have been flat and sandy, and so we decided to try to get it to start while we were up there. And of course, I've carried a jump box with me this entire time in case I needed it, and I hadn't used it in so long that it was out of juice when I that morning.
You gotta jump start your jump starter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the bike started after sitting out in the sun for an hour. It started, and then I didn't have any problems. That was the only time it didn't start.
So when you say you're down on power, you got what, like 6 or 7 more horsepower than my Harley?
Oh, I have way less horsepower. My bike has 24 horsepower stock when it was new at sea level.
I think I have 12.
Now it has 45,000 miles on the clock on
Whoa. 45.
and it's and at that altitude you could feel it. So I was probably down to like 16 horsepower or something like that, which is noticeable from that, on that small bike. There was one hill I remember. One of the guys his name's Dylan from South Africa, was behind me on a Tenere 660 Tenere, the single cylinder Tenere, and we were going up this rocky climb. Well, it wasn't really rocky, but it was rough, and it was rough enough that there's kind of one line because you kind of had to bounce back from one rut to the other. So I kept bouncing back and forth across the road, so you never got a chance to pass. But I didn't have enough power to get out of first gear. I had it wound up in first gear, but when I tried to shift to second, the rev just kept going backwards on me, and I had to downshift, keep from stalling. So I could only go as fast as I could go in first gear. I could tell he wanted to go faster, and I wanted to go faster too to get that momentum going up that hill. But that was all the power it had, and I didn't have enough power to shift in second. And so he was stuck behind me though, because I had to bounce back and forth trying to find the line up that climb. So.
Do you have any regrets taking such a small bike, or are you still good with that decision?
No, it's still I'm not a great off-road rider, as as Tomek will attest to, and I think some of the stuff would have been either not doable for me or would have been quite a challenge or mistake to try to do on a big bike.
Okay.
The Lagunas route, even though I dropped it and then subsequently, the guy that Dylan dropped it in the corner in front of me, and we couldn't see each other, so we were both waiting for the other guy to come help pick our bike up. um, but I was able to get the motorcycle up. If I'd been on a big bike at that altitude in sand, it wouldn't have happened. It was hard to get the 250 up, and then I dropped it a second time after I got it stood up. So that was a whole other game. But a big bike would have been a real struggle, especially those altitudes. It's hard enough to ride that in the best of conditions, and with limited oxygen and limited energy and things like that. The guys who do that stuff on a big bike are at a different level than I'm at. For me, the small bike is the right choice. I think the things that I would have had to turn around with on a big bike that I got to go do and see were worth the trade-off of not having the speed in some of the places where it would have been nice to have more power and to go a little bit faster.
Right. I guess the answer to that is just don't drop your bike.
Easier said than done. Easier said than done.
Easier said than done. Says, coming from the guy who drops his bike at least once every time he gets on any dirt road.
So I mentioned the elevation thing, Dewey, because I have a buddy in Montrose, Colorado. He's trying to talk me into flying out to Nepal to ride the Himalayas with him in the summer. And there's the highest. What's the highest? Like 24,000 feet?
I think 19,000 is the highest road.
19,000 is the highest road?
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, we can fly out. The bikes are cheap to rent. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I can pull it in the summer because it worked. But
that's the only time you can go, though, because of the
right? Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, the bikes will do fine. You're going to be down on power, but it's not going to be as
We'll
responsive.
go, right?
Yeah.
I was really curious because even my bike, I think I was on the FJR 1300, the Yamaha. My dad's bike, like with 40,000 miles, it's a 03. And when I was on Mount Evans, it was kind of funky because it would not want to idle. I have to kind of give it a little bit of throttle to keep it going. It just kept on dying on me. So I don't know what was up with it. But.
Yeah, I found that you've got to kind of stop sometimes and just shut the bike off and then start it again to kind of reset it. If you're going up, especially when you're climbing, I would, stop and stop and let it, because if you get too big of an altitude difference, then when you do stop, I'd have it stall and things. And it took me a little bit to learn that if it does stall out and have problems at altitude, I have to make sure I get the key and the kill switch both off and then turn them both back on to kind of recycle everything, and then it would start.
Interesting. I wonder if it's just because maybe that specific bike, the way it's set up, the ECU, the way it's reading it, what's going on. But
yeah, because
you have a stock air filter? Just stock air filter, nothing?
No, I have a twin air in mine.
Twin air? Okay.
Yeah, I have the twin air, so I can. But yeah, I've a couple of times is all, and once I figured it out, I haven't really had any problems. There's a couple of videos you'll see. I think I have one where it didn't start, and I was trying to figure out what the hell is going on, and it's I was at like 16,000 feet in the pass between Argentina and Chile. And I was riding that with Jesse, but he had gone because he was getting altitude sickness. He needed to get down. And then my bike didn't want to start. And I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, great, this is a terrible place to be by myself and have the bike not start. But it was one of those, once I kind of thought through it and was like, oh, I need to turn all the stuff off and then turn it back on, and it started right up.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have that issue with my V-Strom.
You said 40. How many thousand miles? 45? 40?
Yeah, I think I'm over 40,000 on the bike now.
Yeah, that thing's going. It's freaking going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's I really knock on something. I've had
Crutches.
I've had very few issues with it. I have the cam chain tensioner that I had to replace in Bariloche, Argentina. That's really kind of the only thing that kind of broke and needed to be fixed. The rest of it was kind of preventative. I did a clutch in Asuncion, Paraguay, knowing I was going to go do that Lagunas route with the sand and everything, and how many miles were on the bike. I didn't want to chance burning through the clutch up there, so I put a new clutch in preventatively. I think I probably had another 10,000 miles on the clutch though, so I probably would have been okay. But
I'm kind of considering like if I should just really take a huge gamble on that new CF Moto and just do like a Whistle and Diesel kind of video, the torture test.
Oh, no.
Kill the damn thing. Can I kill a CF Moto 450? What will it take?
How many views do you need to get to
How
pay
many
for
views
CF
do I need
Moto?
to pay for the back? It'll be back in 12 years. Pay the bike off.
I just don't think I can ever buy a bike to destroy it.
Well, let's see how many views.
It might work. It might work. We'll just do it. We'll go that route.
There you
How
go.
many views? How many views did Fortnite get trying to break the KLR 650?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know, but Whistling Diesel on the Cybertruck has 27 million views.
Exactly. Yeah. But here's my calculation. I figured if I buy the CF Moto new, I never bought anything new in my life. I always buy used cash. I never had a loan ever. So this is going against everything I'm doing. I'm just doing it because of YouTube. I'm thinking like at least the YouTube money will pay the depreciation within so many months, so I can sell the bike and it will come out even. Maybe boost
Unless
the
you
numbers.
destroy it.
I'm thinking about it. Well, yeah, but then I'm thinking, man, if the videos are, I could pay the whole bike off in a couple of years, maybe.
So Fortnite got 2.2 million views for their trying to kill the KLR.
Okay.
That would pay for a KLR.
So if you get the same number of views as Fortnite, but you've got to film it as good as Fortnite did.
That's the problem, man. I gotta get better at the whole filming and editing
Yeah.
stuff because I'm so lazy. You guys know I'm still using iMovie to edit my videos.
You know, you're editing with
Oh,
iMovie.
John's head.
Yeah, editing
I
with
know.
iMovie
John's
doesn't.
gonna.
You look, editing with iMovie doesn't make a lick of difference because this guy over here has got like what 10 times the subscribers I do and all the views and everything, and I use all the fancy editing stuff and melt my laptop. So it doesn't really matter. Just have fun at it, and you'll get
But
paid.
I did buy a DJI Osmo 4 for the camera. The only issue I had with the GoPro was the audio stuff. It drove me nuts, and of course it happened when I drove, freaking a whole day to Nevada, Las Vegas, near Vegas, Mesquite, whatever, for the rally. Audio issues the whole time. Like one of the worst times. Not like a local ride. Oh, let's go film my backyard. No, when I drive all the way out there,
Yeah.
it just pissed me off so much. I'm like, I'm done. That's it.
Yeah.
So change it up. And I talked to a couple of people. They all say no issues with DJI. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
I may
still
be
learning the
keep
camera.
going that route too, and I'll be talking to you about making sure I get the right stuff to make sure I get good audio.
Yeah. What I didn't realize is it has like a funky gain setting. So when I went out the first time with the audio and I came back, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, this is like, So you have to like set the gain way down. I got to play around with it because now I set it a little bit too low. So when I go to, do the video, I can barely see my, volume deal and the
Minus 12.
minus 12. That's the sweet spot for DJI?
That's
Negative 12?
look. I got to be honest with you. I was watching a video the other day, and I was going, I'll bet you that guy's using an Action 4. And like 3 minutes into the video, he goes, oh, yeah, and by the way, I'm using my new Action 4. I was like,
Was
duh.
it my video?
You can tell with the image quality. But every video I've seen with somebody using a DJI Action 4 or 5, minus 12 is where they have their helmet mic.
Set. Okay.
I mean,
That's
the
why
part of
I
it's going to
didn't do
depend on
it.
the mic, and how sensitive the mic
But
is.
then I have to set the gain up in post.
Right. So if you set the gain low when you're recording,
Right.
it's going to minimize the background noise that you end up recording. And then you raise it in post, and you get more of the voice with less of the background noise.
Okay. I'll try to do it like 1 or 2 up because there's too much of me, not enough of the bike noise. I kind of want more of the bike noise too, but
Or
no
you
wind
can-
noise. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to find the sweet spot. But
You
But
could
you
just
figure it
use
out,
Resolve
Tomek, and then tell me.
use Resolve and then dial up the voice isolation.
you gotta pay for that stuff and learn. I don't like learning stuff.
It's like a $40 plug-in for the free version of Resolve, and I have numerous videos on how to do it.
Or do like I always do when I do bring the engine, is use a second camera somewhere that's out of the wind to just get the bike noise. Like put it behind you or under your seat
Oh,
or
right.
something. And then you can then use that when you want the bike noise, and you can put them on top of each other, and then have the bike noise, and then you can set the volume levels independently.
Scott had a question for you, Tomek.
Is
Sorry,
it
I
wired
can't.
or the mic
So
too?
by the way, I'm on my iPhone. I can't see anything getting typed. So sorry. Oh.
That's all right.
Do you have the DJI mic too? Do you have the wireless mic, or is it your helmet?
No,
cam
so I have the
mic?
DJI and I have my Troy mic still connected to like a. You have to have a connection mic. It's a C clip to aux, but there's a specific one that you need for the DJI. Tell Mike to just shoot me a DM on Instagram if he wants to know the cable, because other ones won't work, like other certain C clip whatever cables. But I know a lot of people with the DJI, they do like the wireless mic setup, but that's like another, $200 for the wireless mic. So I'm just gonna see how this camera works, and I'll kind of go from there. I gotta
Get
sell my
that, Scott?
GoPros too.
Tell Scott how to get a hold of you on Instagram.
Does he have Instagram? I can't see the chat.
He most likely does, but if he wants to talk to you directly about the mic, you told him to send you a direct message.
Yeah, for sure. Just shoot me a message, and I'll look out for his messages on the thing.
All right, and
we
the
can do it
message is
there.
on Instagram. Your Adventure Tomek.
Yeah, that's the same. Yeah, same thing
Okay.
as the YouTube. And like I'm saying, I'm still kind of learning how to work the new system, but from what I found, that's the only cable. It's like the Booyah something cable off of Amazon. It's like $12 to make it work with the helmet cams. Well,
Okay.
unlike the GoPro, I think what happened with the GoPro, the media mod started malfunctioning the clip, because I would get audio in and out. I'm not gonna buy another media mod because they're $80 or whatever.
I had some issues with my audio on the GoPro one time, and all I did was flip the cable over so that it has tension on it all the time. And I've not had
Yeah.
audio issues since. But
Well,
I
you-
did have issues today with the camera just randomly shutting
Right.
off for no reason.
Well, Patrick, you still have the GoPro 7 Blacks, so you
Yeah.
have the huge adapter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are actually my favorite cameras as GoPro go, for like different bike angles. Like I have one facing back or at me. I always film with those because they film awesome, but it's also audio stuff that I had the issues with. That's like the
Yep.
only issue with GoPro is like the audio. So
Right.
it's just, if you're doing a moto vlog, you kind of want to
Yeah.
have the audio.
Like I said, I mostly solved the audio issues with my 7. But
Get a 12.
That's the old one.
12.
The newest?
Second to newest. They have a 13 out.
What?
Yeah. I have
Yeah.
the number of failures with this camera is like 2, and I want to say 500 or 600 hours of recording with it now.
So I have 2 GoPro 7 Blacks. I have a GoPro 10, and I have a GoPro 11 Black. The 11 Black is fine, but the 10 is funky. I don't know what the hell.
The 10 has a lot of audio issues where
But
it cuts
even-
in, it cuts out.
Even the actual video footage, it like flares. Like I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. It might be the camera itself.
Yeah, my 10 is a handlebar camera because I can't trust it. I actually
Anyway,
wore out.
Dewey, sorry, we got on freaking camera stuff. It's your,
It's okay.
it's your live.
I
So
wore.
we're 2 hours in, so the people that are still watching, are going to be interested in it if they're still watching.
Tomek, I wore out the SD card in my Hero 10. It literally started giving me errors.
You want
While I
another
was
one?
riding.
You want another one? Just Venmo me. I'll ship out mine to you.
No, I swapped a spare SD card in. It's been fine since.
He meant the GoPro.
No, GoPro. You want them? You can have the whole batch of them. I'll give you a good deal.
Send me a message on Instagram. We'll talk.
Make me an offer I can't refuse.
And speaking of cameras, I did my South Dakota videos, and Carson had lent me his 360 cam.
Oh,
That was awesome.
that's where you got. I saw that one of your Needles Highway one that you were doing with the 360 cam. That was Carson's, huh?
Yep. He
Wow.
sent it to me and let me borrow it and play with it and learn, and that was pretty cool.
There you go. We can give Carson the plug there. There's the Adventurous Rider. Go follow him.
Oh, hey,
Like
Carson
and
here.
subscribe.
Carson, I can't see the chat. Sorry. You're typing stuff. Maybe I can. Hold on. Nope, I can't.
There's probably a button there somewhere, but
All right, let me see. I could open YouTube, but mute this. Let me see if I can do it that way.
he just yeeted himself.
Yeah, he's gone.
I don't know what I'm doing. All right, back.
There you go.
Chat. What the heck? Oh, comments. Oh no. Okay.
Jody. I didn't see Jody. Is Jody heading out?
Yeah, Jody's leaving. Bye, Jody.
Hi, Jody.
Bye, Jody.
Thanks for stopping in and asking all the questions and
watch
chatting
the
and
chat,
listening
but
for the whole time.
All right. I'll get my laptop next time, but the Apple MacBooks or whatever, they suck because they go cheap on the front cam, so it's just what? Why? Like I paid a brand new freaking laptop and it looks like crap.
You need to do the setup like John does with the full, the big camera plugged in and the.
That's a Hero
I'm
8.
too lazy for that. Come on.
This is my
Same
Hero 8.
here.
Dewey, you're full of crap because you and Tomac helped me set up the Hero 8 as a webcam.
Oh yeah, that's true. I thought you were using
Yeah,
the
last time
V30
we
though.
did that, right? You have to get a separate freaking app or application.
Yeah, you have to get the GoPro app.
No,
Set
my
it up.
Z30 is back here somewhere. I think it's right about there. It's one of those two.
Yeah, I thought you had it set up for your your talking
What is
headset.
that? What's that thing in the middle? What's the white box? What's the white box? A gimbal?
Yeah, that's the DJI RS3 Mini.
Oh, where'd you get that?
I got it a couple months ago. You don't watch my videos, and I can tell. Literally in the title. But yeah, I bought it a couple months ago because the Nikon, I wasn't happy with the stability. Here's the Nikon, by the way. I wasn't too happy with the stave on it, so I bought a gimbal. And then I figured out how to use the stave on it. So the gimbal helps. It's a fun toy to play with. I was actually at the zoo yesterday, so I have my telephoto lens on this thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing
I'm
like
thinking
zooming
I'm
in
gonna enjoy the whole DJI thing. I'm gonna become a fanboy of DJI eventually once I get rid of the GoPros because from what I heard, all the products they work flawlessly. I mean, I don't know.
They have too many apps. DJI has a different app for every line of products. So I have a gimbal app, and I have an app for something else that I have that's DJI. Oh, the Spark 2, the drone. So they've got 17 different apps. But the one thing that some action company other than GoPro needs to do is have a remote that not only starts and stops recording, but turns the cameras on and off together. Nobody else does it. They'll do it.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
they will do it with, if you have one camera, they might do it. But for multiple cameras, zero. Oh, the only one that does it
Why
is
is it that
GoPro.
difficult? I mean, that makes sense. Saves battery life. Why wouldn't you do it?
Oh, dude. When this 12 came out and it didn't pair with the remote real well, it paired with the remote. But when you turn the cameras on with GoPro's remote with this camera, it would automatically disconnect. It took them 14 months to come out with a firmware to fix that. And now I'm back to my old workflow of recording just what I need and powering the cameras off otherwise. So, yeah, they screwed the pooch on that one. It wasn't until after the 13 came out. And the 13 has the same problem with the remote, and you have to download their newest firmware for the 13. And after they fixed that, they fixed the 12. Not that I have any strong feelings on it. But I wish
now
you
we're all
Yeah.
talking.
Play it.
And now we're all talking DJI in the comments here because Carson asked if with the DJI and the U.S. government the potential ban, is it going to include the
no.
camera?
I think because it's aerial or whatever, I think that was a whole different. That's
I
what
thought
they're
it was
worried about. Like,
I thought their whole issue was privacy and what data collection DJI was doing on customers and data and sending back to China.
really, on all their products?
But I would think it would be all their products.
Interesting.
Yeah. Who knows? That was
They know
the whole
everything
thing.
anyway. Like, they know everything.
Oh, well, we're at 2 hours. Do we
Is
think we ought to
anybody
think
still
about?
here? How many people are watching the live?
There's still 10 people watching, which is
Oh, really?
surprising. Yeah,
Oh, that is surprising.
I know. I would have been bored with me by now.
We are bored
Oh,
with
man.
you. That's why I started talking about
But no,
cameras.
but Patrick, like seriously, like if you would do like a live once a week and have a guest on, like, he would be a great host for lives.
He is.
Seriously,
He
I
is.
think so. Like he's got the live kind of interview thing. Like
Yeah, but I need a better room.
You do.
Yeah. No, I don't want your room. That's ugly. I want a nice room.
There's randomly trees. Hey, no worries on being
late
late,
to the
man.
party.
That's Andrew. Hey, Andrew.
I can
Oh,
change
come
the
on,
color.
come on. You're showing off now. You're showing off.
Is that better for you, Patrick? No, Patrick wants red.
No, I don't
That's
want a
his bike.
shelf in my background full of stuff. Andrew's one of the guys I met out there at the South Dakota trip. So for him, it's early. It's not 10
Ah.
o'clock at night for him. So, and bogey bikers in Texas, so it's not 10 o'clock at night for him. So, it may be late for a couple of us, but for some of us, it's not that late.
Yeah, well, that's always the trick, though, too, is trying to time the live streams so that
Right.
it works for people on the East Coast and the West Coast.
Right.
What, Dewey? What time?
And then
is it
for
right now?
and then for like Andre in Brazil, because Brazil's 2 hours ahead of Eastern time. So I think
What time zone are you, Dewey? What time zone are you?
I'm in Eastern, so it's 10 o'clock.
10. All right, I'm at 8 p.m. right now.
Yeah. But I think it's
I'm early.
midnight.
I'm tired. I'm exhausted actually tonight. I gotta
That's why you were still working when we started.
on a Sunday fun day. I know.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you weren't replacing the battery in a Harley earlier.
Oh, you poor thing. You know why you say that? 'Cause you hate wrench on your stuff. You don't
I
like
do.
it.
I get in there.
I love wrenching on my bike. That's like fun.
I do. I miss that. When I was building, especially like building the DR650 to start the trip, I would just, grab a 6-pack of beer and the little Bluetooth radio and be in the garage with the music going, drinking beers. I would take stuff apart that I'd put together the week before just to redo, just so I could be out in the garage doing something.
That's like the whole who cares? Like if it was just if you just bought the bike and it was stolen, whatever, but like you built the bike, so it kind of that's what makes it worse. Like you put
That's
so
a big
much
difference.
time and energy into that freaking thing. You're even telling me like, so Dewey replaced the freaking bearings on that bike with some kind of high end German stuff. I'm like, Dewey, it's Japanese. Like, how much better can you get?
They were SKF, which is from Sweden, I believe.
Oh, it's Swedish. Oh, Swedish. You get Swedish ones. Like,
But they
so
were
he went
pressure.
all out. He went all out custom with that thing.
Yeah, they were water pressure rated bearings.
Oh yeah. Look, I get it. If you want to build the bike and all that stuff and you have something else to ride in the meantime, but I literally had just pulled the bike out of the trailer, had the coffee in the cup holder, had my helmet on, cigar lit, go to hit the starter, and it was whoa, 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 click. And I was like, you got to be flipping kidding me. Because now the bike's blocking my truck from getting out of the driveway. It's blocking my wife from getting into the driveway when she gets back with groceries. I can't get it back up in the trailer unless it runs because it's 900 pounds and I don't have any help. So I'm like, oh. And then I take the seat off. Scott, the solar battery tender did work. I had a 6-year-old dead battery that would only hold a surface charge. So I take the seat off and it's dirty under there and I got my hands dirty. I washed my hands like 6 times while trying to change a battery because it was dirty.
So here, hold on. If there's any moto vloggers on, watch it. A little like secret Kemi Moto.
No.
No, if you reach out to them, they have lithium ion batteries. Like, hey, I'll do a video for you for a battery. They'll send you one. Free.
No thanks. The guys at the battery store, they offered me a lithium battery, and I was like, no, I'm going to go with the AGM. I've got all the chargers to go with it and everything else, and I'm riding a 900-pound bike. 10 or 15 pounds ain't going to make a difference.
I'm just saying it doesn't make a difference, but the battery's free.
I don't want the free battery.
Okay. All right, money man. I'm sorry. I know you were fucking rich. Sorry, I can't cuss on the line.
Yeah, I use an electric battery tender for both bikes. My V-Strom battery, I finally had to replace it about a year ago, and it was the original battery that came with the bike.
What year
And it was
bike?
2012.
Right.
That would-
Now, my bike has a little bit more going on than your V-Strom, so the electrical system is a little bit more taxed. And when I first got that bike, it was part of the demo fleet, so it had 3,000 miles of who knows what for a year and a half or something. A year? Yeah, a little over a year. And then the first month I had it, I killed it twice because I didn't know that you had to leave a Harley on a tender when you're not riding it because the security and everything will drain the battery. And then I didn't realize that it'll kill the battery trying to start it if it's less than 40 and you don't have synthetic in it. So it wasn't exactly in the best shape to begin with. So to get 6 years out of it, I've gotten some rough starts over the last couple of months as it's gotten cooler. And I was kind of like, it might be time for a battery. And yeah, it was. And you know what, Carson, you're not wrong. I had a kickstart on my KZ650SR and I put it to good use several times.
Carson, did you let the word out, or I'll be hush? Did he let the word out?
He did.
He has a
He did
video on it.
Damn it! I'm so behind. I'm so sorry. Like, I've been so busy with actual work, and like I haven't even been doing videos lately because I'm just so freaking busy.
It's funny. I only know because I've been laid up for the last few weeks. You know, since I broke my leg. So,
Carson actually texted me a
I
photo
caught
on
up.
like a text message, like, "Hey, what do you think?" I'm like, "Yeah, I like it. I like it."
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a good motorcycle for
Heck
Carson.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to videos of him getting out and doing
Yeah.
some of the dirt roads around there.
I can't wait to see him messing around on that bike. That's going to be fun stuff. Yep.
Jarvis says I'm a kept man. He's not wrong. But I'm not rich, Tomek. I just I'm financially irresponsible. Like the what is it, $200 for a battery? I was like, yep, that's where we're gonna start. We're gonna go do that. I put the multimeter on it and I got inconclusive results. So next step is a new battery. Yeah, Sunday
I
afternoon.
know.
And you get it the same day. You know, that's the.
I got
you
it
don't have to
within.
wait.
I found out the bike didn't start at 1:30, and at 2:30 I was on the road, and I filmed how to replace the battery video. Because
Believe it or not, that thing will probably have more views than anything else. Like, how
No,
to freaking battery.
nothing will beat the lawnmower video for
No,
views.
I'm-
Yeah,
How to
nothing will
full
beat the-
start line.
Dude, that lawnmower video is at 271,000 views. And I was talking to another YouTuber the other day who's got a very popular video, and my CPM or the ad revenue is quite a bit higher on my video than his. So, you know.
So I'll tell you my highest views right now, which is a funny one. When I was first doing the YouTube channel and I didn't know what the hell to do, like, because you don't know, like, it's just hard to, what do I do? You like overthink it. At a certain point, you don't care what you do, you do. But it was winter. Like, who do I film? What do I film? I was when I had my KLR 650, the blue one, the 09, back in the day. I was doing those bikes have a vacuum petcock, so it's weird.
I'm very familiar with them.
Anyway, so when you
I've got a
start
lot
the
of
freaking bike,
TikTok
like,
issues.
so it'll like, it's a weird system where the fuel won't go until the bike starts actually cranking over, and it's a vacuum line, so people eliminate it. It's pretty much so you don't have to put the petcock and off, it just shuts it off automatically, the vacuum system. So I was gonna eliminate the system because that was like one of the Achilles heel of the KLRs is that vacuum line might get deroded or over time. Dewey knows. I know.
If the
It'll
diaphragm dries out.
So anyway, I did a video. And I was like, okay, well, I could probably. It would be kind of cool because in my mind, I always wanted to see what the hell that looks like, the actual where the fuel goes. So I pulled out my old tank off my dad's old KLR. I pulled the old one off, and I did a side by side of this is what the thing looks like in the tank. The title of the video is what this is. And it's like a big red arrow pointing at the petcock, outside the bike on the tank. And it's just nonstop views. It's a really short video, unfortunately, but it's what is this? Petcock something. Maybe it's because the name or whatever, but it's another video that I did, how to use fuel stabilizer. every winter, every fall. Look, my graph of views. Whoop, whoop.
Yep.
That's
and it's
awesome.
just and people comment, "Thank you so much." I'm like, "You're welcome." It's on the freaking bottle. You just gotta pour the freaking stuff in. But they don't know you have to actually run the bike after. So I showed you gotta pour it, you gotta cycle, the new stabilizer through the fuel system and kind of explain it. But it's just the simplest things get the most views, honestly. You kind of overthink stuff half the time.
I need to go change some titles then, because I've got videos where I show exactly how to use the fuel stabilizer.
How do you?
He's gonna go copy your title now.
Oh hell yeah, I am. I am
your thumbnail.
not
Well,
ashamed to admit
you know
it.
why I think it's working? It's short, and people are clicking it, but it's showing up at the top of the
The search.
It's short. It's people.
Yeah, screen grab that, Dewey.
Yeah.
It's short.
Short.
Short
That'll be
videos are good.
That'll be a winning thumbnail.
It's a 2.5-star review. Sorry, ladies.
That'll be a winning thumbnail right there. I'm gonna use that for the thumbnail for this.
Oh, good times.
Anywho's, yeah, it's funny. I don't know what works, what doesn't work, but it's just fun. It's fun.
Yep. Petcocks are an interesting thing. The KZ650 SR, they made two identical looking petcocks for it at Kawasaki, and one of them has a rebuildable kit that you can buy for it, and the other one that was in my bike, you can't rebuild it. It doesn't have the diaphragm for the vacuum operated part of the petcock.
Okay.
So I ended up I bought like three of them, and I couldn't get the one that you can rebuild. So I ended up getting one off a KZ1000, which has the same bolt spacing as the 650, and it bolted right up, and you just can't use as much of the fuel in the tank.
Oh.
It sits higher,
So
but
it's
it worked.
It's still vacuum operated petcock, but no diaphragm.
No, it is. The rebuild kit has the wrong diaphragm for the petcock, so it works for one of the two of them, but they're identical casings. So the outsides are the same, but the inside is created differently somehow. It's magic. I don't know. I'm not a mechanic. I spent more time cleaning underneath the seat than I did changing the battery today. Hey, there you go.
Hey.
Hashtag legend.
We can thousand subscriber live stream as well.
We got to do
Jack-
what we have to do is Motovloggers Unite. One of those
Jack did a
Okay.
shout out to me in one of his videos quite a
You did
while
it.
ago.
Thanks,
Jack did a
Logie. That put
shout
me
out
over
to
the
me in
top.
one of
I'm
his
at
videos.
1001. Woohoo!
Hey!
Yay.
You got it? You got it tonight?
Yeah, I got it.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Dewey, you got to at least do one.
There you go.
I don't
He's
have
like-
Oh, he's hiding it.
anything. No, I don't have anything.
Oh, come on. Hold on. Here.
Hang on. Wait.
Wait,
We can fix this.
Okay. Can we get...
Perfect.
All right.
All right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. Cheers.
Great job, Bogey.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bogey. I appreciate that, man. That's awesome.
Woo!
He
The
did a
Bogey-
shout out to me in one of his videos, and I think I went up by like 50 subscribers in like 2 hours.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Bogey hits the mark.
Mm-hmm. So,
Now I
Well,
now
that-
have to change the
well,
title.
what I think is just with Dewey's channel, he has the catalog of videos, but once they start getting the traction, it will happen because he has the playlist. You have the freaking whole South America playlist. Like you have
I
it.
do. The
It's
hard
there.
part is, I mean, the hard part is what I don't have is stuff that people know to search for. You know, it's like you don't know about this remote road in Patagonia that I rode, right? You know,
I know. Yeah.
if you find it and you enjoy it, that's great. But it's hard to.
But here's the thing, though: if the channel gets larger, you have all these videos there. They will go back. Oh wow,
Yeah.
you did this, you did that. They'll watch those previous videos. Like it's like a back catalog.
Yeah,
It's like
no, that's what I
compound
keep
interest
open.
rate, pretty much. You know, it's like because I have all my crappy videos. I unlisted them. Like I just took them off. Anything that I thought was just I wouldn't watch it, I took it off.
Yeah, I mean, I've kept everything. I figure there's no, you know, maybe somebody will watch it. Some of them, I don't think anybody will ever watch. A few of the early moto vlogs don't really, you know, there's no point, but they're there.
but if
But
somebody
I have
catches,
some stuff. It's funny though, you know, like still my most viewed video, and it still usually leads the daily views is one of the videos from back in Oregon, the fossil video. That's the one that just keeps getting views. It's at 10,000 views now, which for me is a lot.
But all your videos are pretty much riding videos and travel videos, right? Correct.
Yeah, none. I don't do how tos. I don't because I don't like doing them.
Well, that's
I
the
know,
only
but,
reason my
yeah.
channel grew because I started doing stuff I really didn't want to do, but I kind
Yeah.
of sacrificed doing that stuff just to have it grow because I knew it would get the subscribers up. But then
Yeah.
either way, it's kind of like I gotta say though, the recent like mountain, like the Red Cone Pass video was the first video I put out that made decent money, decent views for a riding video,
Yeah.
which I enjoy filming. I love filming, like me showing you where I go, and that's what I want to do. But the
Yeah.
how-tos, like honestly, the Tenere 700 kind of saved my channel.
Yeah.
The KTM 1190 was a bad move. It was just like me wanting that bike, but I feel
Right.
like if I just make the right moves of the bike I have, it will happen. Will
Yeah.
happen. The numbers will go up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how. I mean, the bike matters in getting people because they're searching for stuff and they can find a way into your channel. But I think for the
Yeah.
travel videos and stuff, what bike you're on doesn't matter as much as where you're
Where you
going,
are.
and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've thought about it. You know, one of these days, maybe when I get back, because the catalog's there and then people can go find it, I'll do a right. You know, I spent 2 years traveling on my motorcycle. Here's what I packed type of video and.
Yeah,
You know,
perfect.
Go over
Make
that
it short.
stuff.
Be like, do it at 8 minutes,
Yeah,
but like
Okay.
just do it super short, and then you can watch this whole playlist of me doing it. But make it like a super clickbaity. Like I spent 2 years on my bike, you know,
Yeah.
whatever, and that could.
and I should have
Yeah.
gone back through. I should have filmed a lot of building the DR650. I think that probably would have gotten a lot of views. Is what I did and modifying it. Same with even the Honda. I did a
Yeah,
lot of
you did a lot of
modifications
stuff,
to get
yeah.
it ready to travel. Not as extensively as the DR, but I still did a lot of stuff to the Honda, and I didn't film doing any of it. So
I was kind of thinking of doing like a funny parody thing with the CF Moto 450, like, you know, this Chinese junk, like just keep on like
Hey, Jay,
keep on slamming it and like making fun of it, but then I can't break it. Maybe it isn't Chinese junk at the end, you know?
yeah, I'm interested to see.
Make it more fun. I don't know, but I want to build it. I want to like build the whole bike. I'll redo it. Rally Raid already has a new suspension set up for the bike. They're gonna start selling it, so I could probably buy that and install that.
That'll be good, and you'll be early on in the. If you get
Right.
one of the early ones, you
I
can be one of
wanted
the
the
first.
bike now so I could still ride the mountain passes in Colorado. I'll be the first person riding that damn bike in Colorado. My local dealer is only getting 4 of them, so
You just got to wait and find out when you're going to get
I'll
it,
put
huh?
winter studs on it and just go hit the hills.
What does it weigh? I know it's still 450, but it's still decently sized, right? It's like 400 pounds.
450. It doesn't weigh much less than my T7. That's the funny
Wow.
part. But it's the illusion of the low center of gravity. Like it feels.
You guys
It's not
see
as
that?
heavy.
You said hey to Jay. You know Jay is Jack's brother, the bogey biker,
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't.
and he's one of the
I
ones
can't
that
see
pushed
the
you over
chat.
1,000.
So sorry, guys.
Ah,
If you're
And
typing something, I can't see it.
if you've
Well,
ever
thank-
watched the Bogey Biker, he's got the theme song, the Bogey Biker theme song. Really pretty neat. Jay wrote, sang, performed that song.
For the theme song,
He's a musician, plays the guitar. He did it down there at that Twisted Sisters ride.
it's like an intro video thing. It's like an intro.
Say that again.
What is it?
The Bogey Biker, he has his own theme song. And
Really?
his brother, Jay, one of the Rusty Bolts, wrote, performed, recorded it, and
Nice.
Jack, his twin brother, uses it on his Bogey Biker videos.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. He's a talented one.
No.
I don't know. You do pretty good with YouTube, Jack. He
recorded it.
recorded it in the bathroom.
You get better at doing it in the bathroom.
You
So
get an echo though. It's not good.
You gotta
Unless you
run
want a
the
lot of
shower.
reverb.
You got to run the shower.
yeah, it's really cool, Andrew, to find all the different channels. And Andrew, if you watch the Bogey Biker, you will absolutely love it. He does some great stuff. And he and I call them the old guys. He calls them the Rusty Bolts. It's just a bunch of these guys that get together and they do these rides. And they usually go and they eat too damn much, but
Yeah.
they have fun and it's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
I just feel
I'll have
so
to go
guilty
check out more
because,
and
you
more
know,
both of them.
Here's the thing, like we know so many moto vloggers, like the whole, the clique, but it's so hard to watch and follow everybody, or even like once in a while, like what I'll do is like I'll be slow one day, I'll like just jump on someone's channel, like catch up, and I'll do a bunch of comments on a channel. But I can't be like consistent, like if you put a video out, I'm not gonna like just watch it right away. I'll just do like I'll bounce channel to channel and like catch up with people.
Yep.
But because I also do it, and I also have real work because someone's got to work.
Jack just put on
I'm
there.
like
They just
Dewey,
subscribe to you,
just hanging
Tomek.
out in Colombia.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to work again at some point. I've got to go back, so that'll be a problem. But that's a problem for a different day. I've got to get the ankle fixed first, and then I'll deal with that.
Whatever you do, Tomek, don't watch that Road Reality guy. Your IQ will be lowered significantly.
I watched your videos. I comment.
2 years ago.
No, don't be like that. A month ago.
Okay.
At least a month.
YouTube doesn't tell me about any comments anymore.
You swing by once in a while. You did watch. I think you did watch the actual the off road the dirt bike thing in the snow.
It makes me nervous.
Really?
Watching people like I watch Dewey's videos, he's riding in the rain, and I'm like, don't wreck, don't wreck, don't wreck. I watch Patrick, and I'm like, he's over there scraping hard parts, and I'm like, don't high side that thing, don't cantilever it. And then I watch yours, and I'm like, don't ride off a cliff. So
Patrick's going crazy on the damn Goldwing. It's all scratched up on the.
I was gonna say I'd like to
He's
say
got
we
the
know.
lane angle. Ooh, woo.
I'd like to say we know what we're doing, but Patrick rode off a motorcycle.
What you should buy for the channel is they stopped making them. I think the R1 sport bike. You should get a 2000 something R1 crotch rocket.
All right. Let me ask you this in all honesty. You've seen what I've done on the Goldwing. How long do you think I'd live if I had an R1?
Longer.
So back in the day, I had a Gixxer 1000, and I don't know how I'm still alive. But
Right.
even on the T7, the 700 parallel twin, I will rock the freaking canyon. I mean, I can get up to like 90, and I can't. It won't go more than 90, but
Right.
I will hit. The twisties will go. Like it will go, and I'm like, I'm kind of happy. I don't have anything
Exactly.
more power than that because I will probably.
I would go into a corner and I'd be going off the side of a cliff because I
Hey,
went
give
in
me
too
some
hot.
nice Corsa Pirelli Diablo tires and throw them on my sport bike.
The problem is, even with them, with the sport bikes, is if you misjudge it slightly, they accelerate so fast that your slowdown time that you need to brake, and you've got to get used to that speed in your head
Right.
of
The
how
thing is,
how early you have to brake.
I almost went and bought out another GSX-R 1000 because like memories of having the other one. I test rode it. I'm on the freaking thing like this. I'm like, my body can't bend like I can't bend like that anymore. Why would I want this?
Yep.
Patrick
This is
should
awful.
get. Patrick.
I'm
I don't-
over. I
Hold
turned
on.
58 last month. I can't get on a bike I can get on a bike like that. I can't get off.
I know.
Patrick
I'm like,
should buy.
eh.
Patrick should buy a Ninja 250. It'll have all the lean angle he could use without the excessive power.
My son had the Ninja 300, and nope, I couldn't sit on
No,
it.
really?
I couldn't. It hurt to sit on that thing.
I had a friend recently. She bought a Ninja 250 as a first bike, and the thing was a death trap. So I rebuilt the forks for her. I changed the freaking tires, like fixed the bike for her, and I had so much fun in the canyon because it's just that will teach you how to actually take the twisties. You relearn
Oh, yeah.
of what control is.
Yep.
So it was fantastic to be on like a low power bike because it gets you there slow, but then you're like,
Slow
What?
in and throttle out.
I mean, it's pretty much
But
full
you gotta
throttle
make-
on that thing the whole
Yeah,
time.
you've got to maintain. You've got to carry your
Yeah.
speed. That's the
You're
important.
trying to be consistent, like in and out of the turns, just to keep the power, the speed up.
Yeah.
I loved it. I wouldn't mind having one at 250. Why not?
So
Shoot.
for me, I live in the twisties. I'm kind of like you on your mountain roads, and
Yeah.
I've just gotten used to leaning that Goldwing over, and I lean the V-Strom. The V-Strom's basically a sport bike that just doesn't know it's a sport bike.
So
Yeah.
that's why
Oh.
I sold my VTX 1800, the Honda.
Yeah.
Because the bike had so much freaking power.
And it's all low weight.
It's low weight, and it would be a canyon killer. It would kill the canyon, but you know what? The actual bracket of the peg would hit. I'm going up
Exactly.
the canyon, and I'm like flying. I hit the peg, and it bounces me, and
Yep.
I was this close. I almost hit the white line into the canyon wall. I'm like, it scared the hell out of me. The bike would handle it, but
Yep.
and I looked at it. I was trying to figure out if my buddy could like re-weld the actual pegs.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, you know what? That's a stupid idea. Why would I want to romp a VTX 1800 up the canyon? Like too
Right.
much weight, but
Yep.
it would be fantastic. But
I have the same problem with
no
mine.
problem.
I hit the pegs all the time, but on
And it scares the
occasion,
hell out of you sometimes because did it
But
jolt you
the
back?
pegs- hitting the pegs don't scare me at all anymore. I'm so used to it. But
'Cause it-
I go a little too far, and I've hit hard parts, and I call it skateboarding, where
Yeah.
I skateboarded
it's
across.
terrifying.
It is,
It
and
is terrifying.
I have
Yeah.
a cowling underneath where I changed my oil. That cowling up behind the front wheel of the Goldwing, and it's scraped. I've scraped
Really?
it, and it's not good. And I've thought of, can I lift the Goldwing? Can I make it higher? No, I just ride the V-Strom. I've been on the V-Strom in some of the twisties, and you know how high the V-Strom sits, and I've scraped the pegs on it.
Really?
Oh yeah, that thing will hold a corner. Man, it's
there's-
fun.
There's no chicken strip back there.
No, there's no chicken strip.
There's no
And-
chicken strip.
No chicken strip. And on the V-Strom right now, I'm running
What are you doing?
Shinko 805s, 705, 805, the big chunky tires. They still grip in the corner. I have an absolute ball.
I stopped leaning before I hit the chicken strips.
That's why they're chicken strips.
I'm a metronome. Just boop, 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 boop. 10
It's
degrees
just-
either way. We're good.
Dewey, what are you thinking? Should we keep going? Are people watching? I can't tell. I don't see a number.
There's
I don't
13.
either.
We've got 13 people still watching,
There's
but
more people now?
there's more
Where are they
people
coming
now.
from?
Probably from Bogey's shout out.
Hi, all of Bogey's friends. My
But
name
it's
is
getting-
Patrick Moto Ramblings. Come subscribe to my channel too.
All right, so here's like my dream bike coming up. I'll just dream bike.
What,
Waiting.
yours?
We got that. Okay, dream bike. So I sold the KTM 1190. I gotta say, as much crap as that company gets for reliability, this and that, there's a joke. You drink the orange Kool-Aid.
Yep.
It happens. They are fantastic performing machines, and I would love to have a new gen KTM 1290.
Yeah, super.
I would
adventure.
never ride the thing across South America or anything. I mean, I'll take a Honda, but
Yeah, but the KTM would make it across South America. It would make it a quarter of the way across.
exactly. But I'm just saying that bike. You know, you have the KTM 1290 Adventure. You have a sport bike. You have an off-road bike. You have everything in one bike.
Yeah.
The KTM 1190. There's so much freaking heat from the seat. It's ridiculous. Dude,
Yeah,
we
I've
didn't
heard
want to ride it. We went on the Montana trip. He's like, nah, I don't want to ride it. I'm like, come on, you can ride a bike.
They're so tall. The problem is I like all the KTMs. They're
Look,
all
you do
very
it- look.
good.
You're on the seat. You hop off.
It's fine if it's not loaded. If you have luggage on it too, it's almost impossible for me to do that.
I wish you would have rode that thing. It's addictive.
Yeah.
It's like a sport bike. It's almost like it feels like a R6 or something. Like a, you know.
Yeah. No,
I have
the
a friend of
KTMs
mine who's got an
are
1190,
awful.
but I don't know much about it because he can never ride it because he keeps having problems with it.
That's why I sold mine. It's a money pit. Everything
Yep.
is so expensive. I was like,
Last
you know what,
Harley.
maybe in like a year or two I'll do it, but right now I just feel like I want to deal with all the issues.
Well, what have you seen this new 390R that they've come out with?
The Adventure 390. Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. CF Moto released that 450 Ibex. The market's all like, ooh, even BMW is coming out with a 450 now. Dude, did you see that? I know you saw
I
it.
did. Yeah.
I didn't.
That looks nice.
It does.
That's
It
right
looks
up the alley. I feel like Dewey's gonna get that bike.
I'm really interested in that bike. But the new, and
How did I
Carson
know?
just
How did I
mentioned
know?
it, the new DRZ 4S, the new update to the DRZ. That looks cool with the fuel injection, all of it. So it's much more modern, but
You want that BMW?
the BMW looks cool. But the BMW is slightly heavier than I hoped the 450 would be. But
How heavy is it?
I want to say it's 420 pounds or something like that.
Really?
So similar to my
Yeah,
beast.
I mean it's
How about
less than the,
450?
yeah, it's less than the 900. I mean it's less than the 900 by a lot, but it's not as small as like a CRF or a DRZ or something like that. I'd have to look at what the actual weight is of the new of it, but it was heavier than I thought when I looked.
All you need to do is get these really big, oversized saddlebags, so that way if it does fall over, it only falls over a little ways, and that way you don't have to pick it all the way up. Stuff pillows in them.
Well, that's the beauty of the GS bikes. They have those big boxer engines, and they only fall over that far.
So the concept bike weighs. I just had it. 390 pounds.
Now, is that before you add crash bars and racks? And
Yeah, no, and that might be like semi-dry weight or something as well. But 48 horsepower, so that's a pretty potent
BMW is
engine.
pretty. They do a nice job at also like balancing the torque and horsepower, right? They like.
Yeah, the last time BMW made a 450 dirt bike, it did not go well.
I know, and I didn't know about it, but they're getting collectible. My buddy almost bought one. I was trying to talk him into it, but he bought a CD500 instead.
I think my swing arm weighs 390 pounds.
Ooh.
My
farm tractor on wheels.
Yeah. I mean, you pay for you. I mean, for the thing is, right? As a cruiser and a dirt bike are different, and with the cruiser, that weight is what makes them stable and comfortable to ride long distances and all of that. So, you know, it's.
now, Andrew had a question there. I have no idea. You might know, Dewey. The BMW is a twin cylinder.
I believe so. I think it's a small twin.
I want to confirm it, but I'm pretty sure it's a twin.
Yeah, I think it's a small parallel twin.
Twin. It's this
I'm not.
long.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on it. I didn't. I just saw
I
the
just have a bunch of
clip.
stuff on Instagram pop up because people are going crazy. I think after CF Moto came out with the 450 and all the hype about it, all the other brands are gonna follow. The thing is, wait. But how featherweight can you go? I mean, the chassis still weighs a lot. If you go from 700 to 450, what can you do?
But it's a big difference between a 350-pound motorcycle and a 500-pound motorcycle. Especially when you get it off road and you're having to pick it up and all that.
Well, that's why I told my buddy is like, oh, it's only 50 pounds less. I'm like, well, here's a 50-pound drum bell. Pick that thing up.
Yeah.
I was like, only 50? Pick a drum bell up. Can you do this with a 50-pound drum bell? I don't know.
Yeah.
I can barely do it. Nope, I can't do it.
I mean, it just then. And when you're riding off road, when that weight starts swinging around and you get that momentum, it's that much more to try to control and handle. And, and that means that your body over the top of it has less effect on it too. So when you try to balance.
Curious, like, why don't the other companies follow suit about that low center of gravity fuel tank like KTM did?
Yep.
Yamaha just came out with the new T7. Like they just released the 2025 model. New lights, new this. I don't know. Not much has changed, but what could change on it?
But they all put the gas tank up high. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, a lot of them though, KTM will spend the money to develop how to manufacture that. For Hondas, they go, can we sell the bike for $2,000 more? No, then it's not worth us making a new tank or redesigning it because it's all about the money.
Right.
So there is a company in Australia that has a low center of gravity fuel tank for the T7.
That'd be a cool add-on. I bet that would make a big difference on the T7.
Money.
Yeah.
Someone told me it's ridiculous. I was talking to a bunch of guys at Rocky Mountain ATVMC at the meet, and they wanted to develop something like that, but there's some kind of issue of, I don't know, trademark or some kind of
always issues with
how do you Tomek, you're getting or you ordered the CF Moto, how do you think that compares to the Transalp?
I don't like it. Transalp.
No? Okay.
I was actually riding with the Transalp at the Mesquite Rally. One of the guys working for Rocky Mountain ATVMC, one of the product testers that actually tests, develops or whatever the products, he was riding a Transalp and he was saying suspension is crap, which T7 suspension is also crap out the gate, but the center it's just the ground clearance.
Okay.
It's so low, it's ridiculous. I don't know what they were thinking. I mean,
it's the thing is though, everybody said this about the Transalp since day one. The original Transalp was not a baby Africa Twin. It was much more of a street tour that could do gravel roads. It wasn't ever an off-road bike, and this one's not either. I don't think. I think it's a great little kind of.
I gotta say that guy he's a fantastic rider. If you watch my videos from the Mesquite Rally,
Yeah.
I was right behind him a couple times. What was awesome about that rally is they took groups out, but those guys would ride. I mean, it wasn't like group ride. They would hold back. We would separate the group in different levels. Okay, what you're comfortable with, you can go. So sometimes I'll get to the front of the group if I want to go, and then hang back. And then there's a couple of boys from Wyoming. There's a guy on an Africa Twin and his buddy on a T7. The guy on the Africa Twin, he could ride a freaking bike.
I watched them. There was a couple guys. The guy on the 950 was cruising right along too on the.
Oh yeah, that's Kyle Bradshaw. On the old school 950.
Yeah, well, that was an Enduro R though. That wasn't even an adventure, right? That was the 950 Enduro R.
I don't know.
Or Super Enduro,
There's
or whatever it was called.
Up there. It's funny. I posted the video. It's called group ride for a reason. There's a lot of ego going on. No, we're having fun.
I saw that comment. That was a reply to my comment.
I know. I want to comment back hey, all right, Well, I don't know. Good thing you weren't there, pussy. I want to comment stuff back because I'm like, dude, you feel it's not like we're trying to compete. We're having fun. I didn't release the videos yet, but I met a retired airline pilot from like I don't know some commercial airline, and he was most likely in the military because once we felt each other out after not in a homo way and like riding, we stopped the bikes. Because we're going like 90 to 100 miles an hour on these dirt roads in the desert. We stopped the bikes. He's like, hey, you want to ride side by side and go? I'm like, all right. Because I kind of felt his technique out. This guy can ride that freaking Africa Twin better than I can ride the T7. And we're talking retired airline pilot. And it felt like Top Gun. We're like, there's a couple of clips where he's almost sliding off into the ditch and gets it, and he kind of like goes like this. I'm like, I know you were this close. My heart stopped a couple times, and it was so much fun because this guy I think he was in his 60s. I'm 35. He was rocking that. I'm like, whoa, and I was trying to hug him like this because if you get too far back, you get the
dust
kickback.
Yeah.
But my T7 like that, he had the new TCT like 1100 Africa Twin, and when he got on it, he would just pull away from me. So I was bouncing off the rev limiter, trying to get him on the turns. I'll release the videos soon, but it was fun.
But that's exactly how Carson and I rode the Smoky Mountain 1000. Yeah, I mean, we were just full bore riding side by side.
That's the thing. People don't realize there's no competition. Once you get comfortable with another rider, you realize they can ride, you can ride. You want to have fun? Yeah, we'll ride. Yep. I'll ride right next to your freaking rear wheel. Like, I know what you're going to do.
If somebody were to do that to me, they'd wreck because I'd wreck.
Well, even like I know the video the guy commented on, he was commenting when I passed Cody, the guy from Wyoming, when I kind of like fishtailed him and like gave him a nice
rooster.
I shot rocks on his freaking bike on purpose because he pissed me off earlier. So I passed him and I just gunned it, and I gunned his buddy because he kept on passing me. But you know what? In the end of the video, Cody pulls over. You want to ride my bike? I'm like, yeah, I never rode on Africa Twin. He's like, all right, you can ride my bike because I showed him I can actually ride a freaking bike.
Yeah.
I was holding back a little bit, trying to feel the other riders out. So that comment pissed me off. By the way, John, it pissed me off. I'm like, dude, you know what? There's no ego going on. We're having fun.
I saw your comment and I was like, yep, I'm going to go pop some popcorn. This is going to be good.
I know. I don't want to be, should I just be the asshole replying? Because I just got another comment. Why is that guy, he's cutting lanes? Or because the guy got mad that I'm, going over the double when I was riding a bike. I'm like, there's no one there. There's no one there.
People are always going to complain. That's the thing, is there's always somebody. But I see Bogey's heading out, and the numbers are
starting to...
Big thanks to Bogey Biker for getting you over 1,000.
Yep, and we're pushing 3 hours on here, so I got to.
Well, you guys got. I'm only at 9 o'clock. You guys are like what? 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
I will tell you this: this old man is pushing 11 o'clock, and it's like way past my bedtime.
Yeah,
I'm old.
Yeah,
Patrick,
and
you're
I've got to
retired.
go.
What do you have to do tomorrow?
And I've got to move my foot around. And
a whole lot of nothing.
All right, done.
Yeah. So I think we'll probably call it here. So there's still just a few people hanging out watching. So thanks everybody. And if you made it,
I can't believe there's people watching this still.
Yeah. If you made it this far, I'm proud of you for making it as long as you did. So but I really appreciate everybody that came on and asked questions, and for watching, supporting, for helping me get over 1,000 subscribers now.
Yay! Congratulations!
Yeah. So until the next one, we'll catch you all later, and make sure that if you haven't, check out all. I don't know which way I'm pointing. All of these guys' channel. So Yeah, they all have it in there. Adventure Tomex is Adventure Tomex. So, go check out their other social medias and their YouTube channels and give them a subscribe and watch their videos and enjoy it. So, and thanks,
Thank you,
Andre.
everyone.
Thanks for hanging out this whole time. And yeah, everybody looks forward to the next few videos are going to have Andre in them. So you'll get to see our time in Brazil.
It'll be great to meet you, Andre.
All right. See you guys.